Live and local, it's time for Fan Sports Sunday. If the weekend is a big desert for sports talk, think of this show as an oasis.
Yes, here we go.
Come drink from our pool of hot takes as you quench your thirst with. I thought I was going somewhere, but I'm not. So let's just start the show.
All right, it's a Fan Sports Sunday. It's a Fan Sports Selection Sunday. Selection show 6 o'clock tonight on 10 TV. Boy, have we got a show for you today. My man DeVier Posey to my right. Reimer back there running things, but really Reimer's watching television. And there's a lot going on today. It's like I say, Selection Sunday. Let's do it real quick. I'm going to do this super fast. DeVier, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Tito.
Okay.
How you doing, man?
I'm going to do this really fast. Jackets lost the Rangers 4-0 to fall out of the wild card spot. Crew drew with Orlando 1-1. Cavs host Orlando today at 1 o'clock, trying to win a 17th straight game. Now, college basketball. Adam Jardy from Columbus Dispatch is now going to join us right now on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Jardy, no offense, you were a last-minute ad, but I saw you had a tweet out there, some information out there where you think Ohio State still has a chance to make the NCAA tournament, right?
Well, it's not so much that I think it as much as that some of the national people who cover the sport and who are part of the selection committee, at least as of last night, were indicating that there was at least still a chance. So, you know, if you want to pull up all the Lloyd Christmas, short clips there. Right. You tell me there's a chance.
There's a chance.
But yeah, there was conversation yesterday. Dan Gavitt, who's basically the czar of NCAA men's basketball, was on CBS yesterday, and he said that the SEC might not be the only conference to get double-digit teams into the field. Which you look at, the Big Ten has 8 teams safely in, and then Indiana and Ohio State is the next 2 out. So you're saying, okay, well, if the Big Ten's getting 10 teams in, well, Ohio State would be one of those 10. And then Seth Davis, who's a longtime amazing college basketball writer, he posted last night that he thought the last spot in the field was coming down to Boise State or Ohio State, which was surprising, certainly. And so you sort of take those two perspectives and you say, well, maybe they're not entirely dead. So now we wait and see.
So do you feel like at this point, just getting in, where do you see us seated and how do you see it playing out for us? Who could we possibly match up with?
I mean, I don't see them getting in personally. And happy belated birthday, by the way.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. It's if they get in, if they were to be selected, they'd be playing in Dayton. They'd be playing their first 4 game. There could be some juicy matchups there. I mean, it would be possibly a Xavier, possibly a North Carolina. I mean, sign me up for Ohio State Xavier in Dayton in 2 days. Like I would enjoy that for sure. But if there's some way that this team hears its name called tonight, that's the scenario it would be, that it would be essentially the last team in the field, and it would be playing in Dayton on Tuesday.
Adam Jardy from the Columbus Dispatch joins us, covers Ohio State basketball for them, and he's on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. When you look at this Ohio State team, and look, I'm under the guys that I don't think they'll get in, but they might, but let's say they don't get in. I know the college basketball crown, if I'm not mistaken, the next 2 highest rated net rating Big Ten teams are required to go to that. They're like pushing to going to that. And I've read somewhere Rutgers said they've already opted out, unless you don't have enough players for a team and things like that, I guess, through transfers. Do you think if Ohio State is plugged into the CBC, will they have enough players, or do you think they'll get hit in the transfer portal?
I mean, I think they're going to get hit in the transfer portal because every team gets hit in the transfer portal. I think it's very fair to wonder how many teams realistically will be able to and will want to play in this event that opens up after the portal is open, the event starts after the portal opens. And you're asking teams to essentially keep a roster together for a couple of weeks after their season ends and play in an event that has never taken place before. The 4 teams that will make the Final Four in this event will get paid and some NIL money. Other than that, the other 12 that make it won't. So how likely is it that anybody's going to keep a roster together long enough and have a desire to play in this event? I have legitimate questions about whether this thing is – they say it's going to happen. But, as of Friday, I'd been in touch with some of the people helping run it. They didn't know when they were going to be announcing a field. Sometime this week is what I was told. There's so many questions about how this whole thing is going to operate right now that until I legitimately see a bracket in front of me and know that teams are committed to playing in it, I'm kind of holding my breath because it stretches like the common sense belief, I guess, about whether I think teams would actually participate.
Absolutely. So just looking into the future, obviously, I believe DeVier is building a solid culture, and just being on the cusp this year, you don't want to take any moral victories, but I think this basketball, organization and program in this NIL era is headed in the right direction. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think this team looks like in terms of the draft? And, we were just talking about the portal and who all comes back, core guys.
So I think that it's tough right now because, I know they've had conversations with guys, they've been talking, guys that they know they want to bring back next year. They've already been talking to them for, a while now. But the weirdness of, are you getting in? Are you not getting in? Will you play in the Crown? Will you not play in the Crown? There's a lot of stuff that just has to be kind of sorted out here these next couple of days. And losing to Iowa on Wednesday kind of added to the weirdness of it because you expected they were going to win that game, live to play another day, and then they would be firmly on that bubble right now. And I think that would have pushed off some of those conversations. But my understanding at this point, I think they feel pretty good about keeping together the nucleus of this team. I mean, that doesn't mean you're not going to lose, a couple of guys from some part of the roster. That's just what the sport is right now. None of these guys really pop on an NBA draft board right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Bruce Thornton goes through the NBA draft process. He has spoken publicly about that. Jake Diebler's spoken publicly about that. His goal is to play in the league. And that seems to be something that I would imagine he would go down that path this year. Other than that, none of these guys really are showing up on draft boards anywhere. So I don't think the NBA is too much of a concern right now. It's just going to be, what does the portal look like? Who stays? Who are they targeting? And it's going to make the next 3 months a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. How do you think, Adam, they match up or compare to the other teams that are kind of on the bubble? North Carolina, I know is 22 wins, but they've got their resumes been called into question. Boise State, schools like that, Xavier, Indiana. What do you think? How do you think Ohio State compares to them?
The problem with Ohio State's resume is that they just have too many losses. They don't have bad losses. They just have too many. And you look at a Carolina, which I believe is, so Carolina in quad one games in the nets, which is what the committee uses to help seed and select the field. North Carolina is 1-12 in quad one. Ohio State's 6-11 in quad one. That's a big deal right there. Right off the top, you're saying, well, Ohio State has 5 more wins and 1 fewer loss than Carolina in that first quadrant. Carolina's 8-0 in quad two. So it gets a little bit more comparable. Ohio State's 3-4. The Ohio State has an extremely strong strength of schedule, which is hard to say. And they scheduled aggressively. I heard Dan Gavitt again yesterday on CBS talking about how the committee does look at not just how many quad one wins you have, but where are they? Are they on the road? Are they home? Are they neutral site? Ohio State, 5 of its 6 quad one wins are away from home. They beat teams in their place. They won neutral court games. That kind of stuff is important in the eyes of the selection committee. And so, a lot of these little things are what has kept Ohio State in the picture for so long, even as the losses piled up. The problem is just it got to a point where there were 1 or 2 too many of these defeats that just makes it really hard to overcome all the other stuff. I think if Ohio State had beaten Iowa, it might be in. It might be that simple to where your record just needs to be that little bit better, and then all the other stuff works in your favor. And unfortunately, they have too many losses.
Speaking of working in people's favor, Adam, I hope the NCAA and travel gods work in your favor beyond Dayton. Hope we can travel this team a little bit. We'll see what happens there. But we appreciate the time, man. Enjoy the rest of the day today.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me.
That was Adam Jardy there for the Columbus Dispatch. We got a jam-packed show. We're going to have Kevin McGuff on next, talk about the Ohio State women. We also have later on Clark Kellogg, 1:30. We got our normal stuff with Gerb and Mekka Don. It's a monster show today, folks. Make sure you stick around. Selection Sunday is going to be interesting for McGuff and his team. We'll talk to the coach next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island. Next on Metro's Nadiata Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free? Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
How about this? You need auto insurance. You could A, pick AAA to find the best coverage for you, or B, spend so much time researching insurance jargon that you might as well have gotten a law degree.
Yeah, I'm going with A.
Right. Okay, you're booking a vacation. You can A, have AAA plan it for you, or B, stress so hard about layovers and getting to your cruise that you need a vacation from booking your vacation.
That's easy. A, AAA.
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. At Giant Eagle, we combine exceptional customer service and quality foods, all at great value to make the most of your shopping trip. Visit Giant Eagle or Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And Bet and Reduce Juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The best matchup this month is you in a new ride. From Coughlin Ford, get a new 2024 Ford F-150 with prices as low as $45,940. Or buy a new 2024 Super Duty starting at under $49,000 during Ford Truck Month. Visit CoughlinFord.com.
All factory rebates to dealer. All prior sales excluded. In-stock units only. No security deposit required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Few showers, possibly a thunderstorm this morning with temperatures near 60 degrees. Temps will hold steady into the afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms possible through mid to late afternoon. Then our sky clearing as temperatures fall from the 60s into the 50s and eventually the 30s overnight. A clear sky to start Monday. Temperatures will be near freezing in the morning, and then in the afternoon, upper 40s to nearly 50 with sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. Fan Sports Selection Sunday for both the men and the women. We'll head out now to the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Talk to Ohio State women's head coach Kevin McGuff joining us now. Kevin, 8 o'clock tonight is when they unveil the bracket. Do you find out at the same time everyone else does?
I do. We get no knowledge prior to, and so we'll be anxiously waiting, that when the show starts at 8 to see what our path is like, and we're excited, obviously. And before we go any further, I want to wish DeVier a happy belated birthday, since I know that happened yesterday. And I just want to say this too. One thing I really appreciate you, unlike Titus Powell, you don't come on and talk about how young you are and how old Tito and I are. So we appreciate that, and so I'm happy to be on with you today.
Oh man, I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you, man.
You got it.
So you guys are teaming between the 4 and the 5 seed. You know it's a huge deal which one you are. 4, you're hosting. 5, you're going on the road. I don't know if you've looked at some of the predictions. I think ESPN's most recent bracketology has you as a 4, but depending on which one you look at, you're a 4 or 5 somewhere. How much have you paid attention to what other people are saying, or are you just completely blind to it all and just oblivious to it all and just want it all just figure out tonight?
I don't pay attention a whole lot. I just kind of try to focus on what we can control, whether, throughout the season and even this time of year, it's like, we don't have much say in who we're going to play or where we're going to play. So, we're going to get a team, we're going to get a path, and, we'll get to work as soon as we get that tonight and try to get our team prepared to play next weekend.
Coach, I know, you're getting ready for the tournament, big day today in terms of, your path. But do you have time to reflect on the season as a whole right now during this weekend? And I wanted to ask you, what was the turning point in the season that really you saw some growth in some players? I know Taylor Tahiri is up for a huge award. And what kind of growth did you see within your personnel?
Yeah, so the season went a little bit pretty much like I thought it would be. We lost some incredible players last year and a lot of older players. We had J.C. Sheldon for 5 years. We had Rebecca Michalaka-Cobra for 5 years. We had Ricky Harris for 5 years. And so we were a very experienced team a year ago. And we also had great leadership in J.C. Sheldon. And so this year we lost those guys, and we brought in some really talented young women, but we had 7 newcomers into the program. And so I thought we would look like a talented team, but we would have some extreme highs and lows because of the inexperience, and that's kind of the way it played out. And that's what we really focused on this week, because we didn't have an opponent. We just focused on ourselves to try to get a little bit better, but more importantly, just to be a little bit more of a consistent team, because I think our good is good enough to beat a lot of people. But we've got to be more consistent towards 40 minutes. You bring up that break you guys were on, because the women obviously wrap up a week before the men wrap up, and you've got this long break. And I'm curious, I don't know if there's a definite answer. Is a long break good? Is a long break bad? Or does it just kind of depend on the health of your team and where you're at? Yeah, it just kind of is what it is. And so typically what we like to do is get a combination of a little bit of rest, both physically and mentally, and kind of recharge, but also work on some areas where we think we could get a little bit better and just get a little more prepared, get us a little more prepared for the tournament and a little more prepared for when we do get an opponent. Absolutely. Coach, I want to get into specifics. Obviously, there's a lot of uncontrollables with the tournament. With your team, what are the controllables in the mindset of, coming on the court and enforcing your will against any opponent that you guys could possibly face? Yeah, I think just really getting back a little bit to our identity. We've been one of the faster teams up the court in the country in terms of transition offense, and I think we've gotten a little bit away from that, and so we really tried to emphasize that week is making sure we play with great pace and put pressure on the defense to get back and stop us. And then also just tightening up some things in our full court pressure, which kind of goes hand in hand with what we want to do offensively. And then also just tightening up the half-court defense a little bit. I think if we can be a little better half-court defense, our full-court pressure can be just a little more imposing, and then we can take that and turn it into faster transition offense. I think we'd be back a little bit closer to our identity than we might have been at certain times of the season.
Kevin, when you look at your losses over the last couple of years, last 3 years, say, games you guys have lost, regular season, tournament, whatever, do you notice a theme in that, something that you think the team has to improve upon to get over those kinds of games? And you haven't lost many, so this should be joy if you think about it. You've lost, I don't know, it's 7 games, whatever, in 2 years. I don't know what it is. Anyway, but is there a common theme in those losses?
Yeah, I think one common theme is we haven't shot the ball very well. And so that's one thing. And the other one would be rebounding margins. Those would be the probably 2 biggest common themes when we haven't won games.
And then when it comes to the tournament, when you match up with teams, like what do you guys have to do? Or is there something strategically you're doing or personnel-wise to overcome something like that if you get in that situation again?
Yeah, it might depend on who we're playing, because if we're not shooting, depending upon the opponent, is there a way to manufacture some easy baskets? Are they susceptible to the press or something we can do in the half court to turn them over and get some easy baskets is one of the things we'll take a close look at depending upon what the matchup looks like. And then we have to really, really just continue to in practice and emphasize being disciplined and aggressive in our rebounding.
Absolutely. So, Coach, what's the plan for today? I figure you're going to probably order some pizzas. You're going to get this selection, and then you're diving into 12 hours of film. What's this night like for you and the staff?
Yeah, so we'll gather as a team around 7. We'll have a meal at the Shot, and we'll probably watch the men's selection show and see how that shakes out. And then we'll, at 8 o'clock, obviously, we'll watch the women's selection show. And then as soon as that's over, I'll have some media obligations, and it'll be right into, kind of like everybody talks about the opponent and the film and the game planning, but you also have to kind of plan the week too. If you play Friday or Saturday, when are we going to practice? Are we going to take a day off? If we're traveling, what's that going to look like? When are we leaving? So there's also a lot of logistical things that we'll have to cover and really start to dive into tonight.
And I never thought about how big of a deal it is if you're hosting, because you got to do travel plans, you got to make sure when you're having if you're staying here. Yeah, I got to believe it's a heck of a lot easier for you. Not only home court advantage, Kevin, just like the other parts of it, though.
No, it's an edge.
Yeah,
it's absolutely.
No question. The logistics become much easier if you're here. Yeah. And there still are some logistics because the NCAA kind of takes over the building and that type of stuff, and when you can get on the court and all that. But still, it's significantly easier if you're playing here and at home versus if you have to travel.
You got a feeling one way or the other if you're 4 or 5? Do you have a vibe? Do you have a thought?
I don't. So, like everything in life, there's politics involved, and there's a committee, and there's people, and they're affiliated with certain conferences who other people are right there on the line to host. And so, that stuff all plays into it. And that's what we just don't know, is what the discussions were like, in Tampa when they were putting this bracket together.
Gotcha. Kevin, thanks for the time, man. We'll be looking forward to it also. We're watching with you. Let's go for, let's go for a 3 seed. Let's be a 3 seed this year, Kevin. Let's do that, okay?
Yeah. We're aiming high.
There we go. Thanks, Kevin. We'll talk again. Fellas. See you.
See you.
That was Kevin McGuff joining us there. And yeah, it's logistically, think about that. And if you've got a plan like to take your team somewhere and you've got to wear out the practice time out there and all stuff, you've got families want to go, you've got to plan all of that itinerary out. But if you get to stay here, that's huge.
Well, it's even better because the NCAA takes over the building. So they're doing most of the event plan. And we thought that was a big deal with the college football playoffs here at our game.
Yeah.
But that happens every year, I guess, from their perspective when they host. So, Tito, that's a big weight off your shoulders. You can start preparing immediately.
Yeah. And I do think they're one of the top 16 teams in the country. So
Absolutely.
by my logic, they should be a 4 seed. I think it's between them and Alabama. Those are the two.
Yep.
Every bracket I'm looking at has one of them 4 and one of them 5. But we'll see what happens. I hope their resume. Look, they played in the toughest conference in the country. With no disrespect to the SEC, but when you got UCLA and USC at the top of this, the two of the top teams in the country, and that's who Ohio State lost to. They lost to really good teams for the most part. But we'll see what happens that again. 8 o'clock select show. The men's select show at 6 o'clock will be on 10 TV, so make sure you tune into that. Also, Reimer, what are you guys doing? Let's remind the listeners what's going on the digital side.
Yeah, so we are doing a live reaction show while the selection show is going on. It'll be on YouTube, on the fans' YouTube. That's the only place you can find it. Starting about 5:45, and we'll just be with you going through the bracket, finding out as everybody else is finding out, and then kind of just talk about the brackets, recap it a little bit, see what we kind of like.
And the trio of Mad About Hoops guys will be involved?
Yep, me, Timmy, and Evil Bald Colin.
There we go. All right, so make sure you tune into that as well. Put the game on channel, put the selection on channel 10, and put these guys on your smartphone or whatever, and you can take a look. It doesn't even say smartphone anymore. Did I sound old when I said that? Because every phone's a smartphone now, right?
Yep.
I sounded old, didn't I?
Yep, you did.
Go to www. No. All right, coming up next, we're going to get Mekka Don on. Buckle up, folks. Mekka Don joins us next year. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Hi, Kevin. How's my engine doing?
Well, you tell me, little lady.
What?
Ma'am, an engine is delicate. It's got a lot of parts. Rub it together.
Oh, is that so?
Lube her up real nice, and she'll purr like a kitty cat.
How do you know so much about engines?
Well, I spent a lot of time under that hood.
Babe, she is running hot. Let's go. And next time, I get to play the mechanic.
Rev up the romance with Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. These guys are at work, so you don't have to be. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. Tito, DeVier, Reimer. Fan Sports Selection Sunday. I told you we're loaded with guests. We already had Jardy and Kevin McGuff on. But now we're going to head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline for...
Let's get fired up for the Buckeye season. It's time to buckle up with Mekka Don.
Mekka Don, Buckeye Nation. It's time. Buckle up.
And just so you know, if Ohio State does not get their name called for the NCAA Tournament, you can blame Mekka Don. I don't believe he did a hype song for them this year. Whenever there's a hype song for Ohio State, great things happen. But for whatever reason, Mekka was too busy. Mekka, how are you, my friend?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
that's a good switch.
to you. Happy birthday, dear DeVier.
Oh, man, you're too kind.
To you.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Thank
you, man. I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm sorry I did not do a Buckeye song for basketball. I will reconsider next year. We got to get us back on track.
There we go. Yeah. We got to do it. It's been tough this season because of the inconsistency. Like there's times like when they beat the Drawers off Kentucky by 20 points at a neutral site game, and they look so good there. They looked really good in their comeback against Maryland. But then they have the games where they lay the egg against Northwestern. They should have beat Iowa. It's frustrating to watch, isn't it?
It is, but it's growing pains. And maybe, I'm an optimist, so people probably might be sick of hearing that type of optimism from me generally. But these are type of growing pains when you're talking about a first-year kind of head coach figuring out, his way through things. That's why people need experience, And so I'm hopeful in DeVier. I like DeVier. I think he's smart. I think, there's also some moving parts with the team, guys leaving the team, guys, injuries, different things like that you're dealing with. And so, but it was frustrating. All in all, regardless of that, it still was frustrating because there's some games you're just like, what are we doing,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to ask you, like, what would be your state of address to the Buckeye fans for the basketball program, this DeVier-led program, just moving forward? I mean, what would you tell them?
Yeah, it's such a tough thing because, Ohio State basketball fans. There's some Ohio State basketball fans. I follow this on social media, pretty much, and they want us to spend money. They're like, go get Calipari when we have the chance to get him. Put money into this program. Stop trying to be cheap, so to speak. But I do think that there's something to be said about kind of homegrowing, so to speak, your coaches and your programs. People don't want to necessarily hear that at a program like Ohio State because as big of a school as it is, as many resources as the athletic department has, they think, we should be, pretty much the top 5, top 10 team every season. So, but right now it's really going to be put up or shut up, right? The next couple of years. So I would preach a little bit of patience. We bought into DeVier because we thought that he was going to be the guy for the future, not necessarily in year one, and give us a little bit of patience. Now, if after year 2, in year 3, we're looking at the same kind of inconsistency, then there's going to be a totally different conversation.
Mekka Don, I get the sense that people want to say, throw more money to Ohio. I think there's fans that want to say, hey, put more money in the basketball program, put more money in the basketball program. But if Ohio State comes back and says, okay, you know what, we're taking a little bit of money from football and putting it towards basketball, I think there'd be a riot. I don't think Ohio State fan would want to take anything away from the football budget to fund basketball.
Well, I think most people don't understand how athletic budgeting even works. I mean, people who probably work there probably don't even really necessarily know how it works. So I think they probably think there's an abundance of money and that we wouldn't necessarily need to take anything away from football and still be able to make basketball great. Now, whether that's true or not, again, who knows? But the reality is that, football is king here. It's going to be king, and then with the new NIL situations and new kind of revenue sharing and all the different things that are happening financially as it relates to college football, that's for us to stay on top, we're going to have to really, really understand how the finances work. And that may mean that not just basketball, but other sports may get neglected a bit to keep football king.
Well, I don't know if it's neglection. I think it should just be like a one band, one sound type of thing, Mekka, and that was a music reference because you are a music guy. So I think Ohio State has a model in terms of what Ryan Day has implemented. And I think when it comes to the portal, it's production versus potential. And if you look at Ohio State's method, Tito, they went for production when they got guys in the portal. And I think if you look at Ohio State's basketball team and just some of the decisions that were made, whether, it's a learning experience and that's okay. But what I'm saying is I thought they kind of maybe put dollars towards potential and it kind of backfired. So just with the portal moving forward, I think our football program can share some of those techniques and say, hey, let's get some proven guys with some proven stats. And if we're going to use the portal, let's use it in that manner and not really bet on the potential. So, because you're going to have recruits coming in all the time. So it's
and that's a good point. Because there's also, even if you relate it to football, look at Ryan Day, right? Ryan Day wasn't a proven head coach. And there's, a lot of chatter, even probably still, but way less now, about Ryan Day and, why are we hiring somebody? We need to go get, Nick Saban or, whoever. Like, there are a lot of people that – so Ohio State has a philosophy where if they can get Urban and they believe that's the right fit, they'll go get Urban. But they'll also have a philosophy that, listen, if we believe in somebody then we're going to give them a chance. And I think that's, it's noble in some ways, man, because that's, not every great coach is going to be someone that has years and years of experience. Sometimes these people have to get groomed and trained on the job, so to speak. So I'm hoping that that's true for Diebler. I like him a lot. I actually just ran into him a couple of days ago at the academy game. Got to talk to him for a little bit. He's a hardworking guy. He's a smart guy. He understands basketball. He relates well with the players and the younger generation. I mean, he has as good of a shot as anybody to be good. So, I know people don't want to see people grow up on the job, but, sometimes that's going to be part of it.
Mekka Don joins us here on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Buckle up with Mekka Don's a segment we do every week. And, Mekka, we had the expanded college football playoff this year. And sometimes I don't know if this year I think the best football team did win the championship with Ohio State. When you expand tournaments, though, and like when you expand, March Madness, what they're doing now with their 68 teams, in basketball, a lot of the times it's not the best team that season. It's the team that got hot during the tournament that had the best run then that allows them to win. Do you fear we'll ever get to a point where the college football playoff is so big that we'll have a Cinderella-type story win the college football playoff?
I think it's going to be so hard. I mean, in a one-game scenario, right, theoretically, anybody can win, right? That's just like – but the difference is, particularly in football – you have, like in basketball, for example, if you lose like one or two of your star players into injury, that could be it, right? In football, those injuries can be big, but a lot of times you can recover. Look what happened to us with our offensive line. We're losing All-Americans, and we're still able to kind of recover, right, because there's so much more depth, so many more players. So depth is really going to be the big deal, I think the biggest deal in college football. And then also, a Cinderella team, they may be able to win one game. It's very unlikely that, they're going to be able to go beat Ohio State and beat Alabama and go all the way through. So I don't think so. And one of the things I do fear, though, is I fear that they're going to keep expanding this thing, right? That, 5 years from now, we're going to have 16 teams. And then, we keep going into the future and keep going higher because the money at the end of the day is so big that if there's people who are looking at this straight from just a financial perspective, there's so much. Imagine if you add 4 more games to college football playoff. People are locked in. It is a extreme moneymaker. And so I think that will dilute the product a little bit, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But I don't really think that it's going to be really hard for Cinderella to win, 4 games against the powerhouses. And to the extent that, one last thing is, and to the extent that that does happen, it wouldn't even really truly be a Cinderella. It would be a team like Wisconsin, who has a whole bunch of seniors and has great recruits and great coaching. It wouldn't be like, I don't know, like Akron or something like that. That's right. Very unlikely that'll ever happen.
Absolutely, Mekka. So what does the offseason look like, man? What we got going on right now? What's budding? Are we closing some things up? What are we doing?
Yeah, a couple things. Well, first of all, spring football starts tomorrow, I believe. So, I know that's not about me specifically, but I'm excited about that and watching that kind of quarterback battle. I think is going to be interesting. But for me, obviously I have the Buckle Up documentary. That's going to be coming out probably in June. I'll be announcing a day here pretty soon. We have a lot of new cool stuff that's happening with that. Sponsors, activations. That's going to be really fun. So I'll be announcing those things. I'm actually working on some new music too. Not necessarily Buckeye music, but music that you will probably hear in something very high profile here pretty soon. So keep your fingers crossed that I get those deals done, but I'm working on those. And and then a few other endorsement things that we're working out right now as well. So just trying to keep the momentum going and keep people excited, especially during the off season. Sometimes people get the itch for football again, so they need something else to keep them hyped. So I got a lot of cool stuff going on, and definitely will keep you guys posted. You got to follow him on Twitter. Look, at Mekka Don Music on the X. Follow him there because in the last few days you will have seen a picture of him. Is like, how old were you? 8 years old in that picture? I was young.
Okay, young. That one, a picture of him as a young boy getting an autograph from Chris Carter, who is now a very close friend of his. Absolutely. And so like it's funny how that kind of stuff happens sometimes. And then like DeVier getting my autograph when he was younger. Now we work together, which is really cool, Mekka. Yep. And then there's the picture, the thing of you with Second and Seven Foundation. I know there's some former Ohio State Buckeyes involved in that. Tell me what you were doing there.
Yeah, so, the Second and Seven Foundation is basically a foundation that was started by Ryan Miller, Mike Vrabel, and Luke Fickell. And, primarily run by Ryan Miller, but, they go to different elementary schools and read to second graders, and they have a whole book series, Hog Molly's book series that they came up with. So, I've been working with them for years now, just going and being kind of one of the guests that will go read to kids. So I got to go to North Linden Elementary this last week and be one of the guests to read to the kids. And I absolutely love it. I have a son who's in first grade, so it's pretty much, very close in age, and he loves those books. So, every night he's asking for us to read him those books. And so to be able to go to those kids and just be a positive influence, and, they watch the Buckle Up video and they're so excited, and, all this type of stuff. It's really, really cool, man. It's a great thing that they're doing in the community, and I'm so happy to be able to be a part of it. So you'll see me probably doing a lot of those as time goes on.
I love things like that, Mekka. You're one of the guys who also gives back and does this stuff. A former Buckeye who we're having Clark Kellogg on the show later on today, and he's another guy who just represents Ohio State very well out in the community and the things they do professionally. And so happy to have you on, my man, and we'll have you on again next week, okay?
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one. Happy birthday again, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. That was Mekka Don. Buckle Up, the theme song. I was only half kidding about blaming him for Ohio State if it don't make it. But because
when did you come to that conclusion?
Oh, I've been sitting on it for a while.
Okay.
Every time they lost, I wanted to blame Mekka, but I know it's not his fault. Look, he does this once. He does it once every 10 years to do the anthem, and that's what happens. So that's it's good enough. Hey, you know what? If the worst thing that happens to us Ohio State fans this year is Ohio State misses the NCAA tournament, it's still been a damn good year.
Absolutely.
Just
so selfish.
Win that far.
It's so selfish of him to only say once every 10 years.
All right, coming up next, speaking of the OSU men, where does the men's program go from here? We'll talk about that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry.
As much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. Our 93 are free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Do you realize making the minimum monthly payments on your credit cards, it'll take nearly 20 years to pay them off? What if I told you there's a way for you to get them all paid off in just a matter of weeks? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Imagine wiping out all of your credit cards. Here's where you go. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending is the easy button for tapping in to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your home equity. That's not the bank money, it's your money. Listen, your home, the value is way up. And now AFLcash.com has a super fast, hassle-free program that lets you turn that equity into cash. People who do this are living their best life, their credit card debt free, with cash left over for other stuff like home improvements, maybe a vacation. See how much money you can get now. Go to AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Say goodbye to greedy credit card companies. That's AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 five-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here, thinking I did something spectacular dropping 50 pounds, but then Steve pops in and dropped a whopping 150 pounds with Awaken 180 weight loss.
I got started because I was sick and tired of just being sick and tired all the time, wanted more from life, and I knew that at my size, I wasn't being who I could be, who I want to be for not only myself, but for my wife. And I was just like, something has got to change and it's got to start soon. I mean, the program is so easy. Everything is really written down for you on your first day. Having someone there to help you and also keep you accountable, just having that someone to talk to, and even the fact that Awaken 180 offers free maintenance for life is amazing because our lives change on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And sometimes you need help figuring it out because keeping the weight off is a lifetime commitment.
A lifetime commitment is what you'll receive with Awaken 180. More than 50 pounds to lose like I did or over 100 pounds like Steve, Awaken 180 can get you there and keep you there. Free support for life online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. Tito, DeVier, Jacob Reimer here. This is one of the greatest sports days of the year because of the fact we will find out who is in the NCAA tournament, what the different matchups are going to be. DeVier, will you be up later than usual tonight because of this? Like looking at stuff, watching shows, filling out brackets. Will you take it that seriously?
Yeah. That's the one requirement. It's my birthday. That say, hey, you don't got to give me anything, but everybody in the house, even the 2-year-old, fills out a bracket. So I do take it kind of seriously.
Are you a multiple bracket guy?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have a limit? How many will you do?
I'm gonna print it out.
Okay.
It's gonna be folded. It's gonna be coffee stains on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have 3 of those, and I like to write it in.
Reimer, did you get invited to the player pool contest this year?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, you would have known by now.
Yep, no, me neither. These guys don't invite you to fantasy, Reimer. We're new.
No, listen, I thought they would have. We had 10 last year.
If you're a threat, Reimer.
They didn't want me to because apparently I'm the number one college basketball guy here.
I did hear that. I'm not going to lie to you. I did hear that's one of the reasons that Reimer was not going to be invited. I was out there
he asked
campaigning.
You if you were invited. He knew you weren't invited.
No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know. I don't know who all 11 are. I'm saying, though, I know they have 11 this year, but I was campaigning for you. But the brushback I got was he knows too much. That's the brushback I got. That's what it said to me. Hey, we can't have Ryan because of that. And anyway, so the player pool comes out. How many brackets will you fill out, Ryan? I mean, look, we all agree. You've got one that's like you say, this is my bracket. And then you do some other fun ones that may be different, right? Is that the way you operate as well?
I'll probably do like 2 or 3. I've gotten a lot better than like I would used to do like 10.
Right.
But now I've gotten it down.
Yeah.
3?
Yeah. Because I would have one, like, especially like this year, like just for fun, like like, oh, North Carolina, they're a low seed.
Right.
Yeah, let's just have some chaos happen.
Yep.
And have them go, oh, since they're my team. But
Absolutely.
I've gotten a little bit better at it too, of just stick to like go to the heavy hitters and keep the bias out of it.
So,
do you look at odds? Do betting odds help you make decision for your bracket? Because that stuff is like an element now too. As a kid, I didn't pay attention to.
I haven't really paid attention
It's all
to
about
it.
the gut and the heart.
It's more about like just looking at KenPom metrics or how teams have fared against certain teams that match the team that they're playing style.
Yep.
And just go about it that way.
Styles make the matchups.
So Ohio State, we don't know what their fate is, if they'll be in the CBC. They've already said, I believe, they're not going to go to the NIT, but if they have enough players, because that portal opens up, like we talked to Adam Jardy about earlier, will open up before the college basketball crown in Las Vegas. That has an NIL element to it as well, so players get to go out there and play, and it will also be compensated in some way. The bench this year, DeVier, was non-existent in most games. And, so part of my, like Ohio State, they scored 3 points in 27 minutes off the bench against Iowa. The key for me for the next year, if they get Thornton, Royal, and Mobley back, their top three scored, three of the top four, I guess, because Parrish scored 13.3, Mobley 13. But if they can get those three guys back, I will feel so much better going into next year and let them sprinkle in, throw the transport, whatever you got to do, to shape out the roster. But they've got to have those three guys, and they've got to get a big, thick player as well.
Yes, absolutely. I think you go back these Ohio State football references again, and I'm not trying to continue to do that, but a first part of Ryan Day's job this offseason, first part of Ohio State football, was recruit your own roster. That's what you're mentioning, and maintaining those three guys, those three figureheads. That those are guys, those are players that can be, hey, this team has the potential to win the Big Ten. This team can be ranked in the top 25 starting the season next year. When you have seniors, in college basketball, we were talking about it within the break. Rick Pitino is saying, hey, I'm not recruiting high school kids. I'm recruiting more mature players.
Right.
And for us as a team, Ohio State, we can't be young in some years moving forward. We have to be an older team with core guys who are the leading scorer. So this transition has to kind of happen where we retain a veteran group. Mm-hmm. They're mature. They're strong enough. They have the strength to go against these other teams who have veteran players and, have recruited guys in the portal. And like you're saying, look and see what we can find that's not potential, but that's true production. And we get that guy here wearing scarlet and gray.
Well, that's the trend of every national champion is they have the experience with it, no matter where it's at. It's typically in the backcourt where you see most success, but you also have it in the front court as well. But they are accompanied by maybe like one or two freshmen that can either come off the bench or give you significant minutes in the starting rotation, but it's all on the experience.
I want to ask you, Robert, do you believe the days of one and done, like from and it probably ran from like 2004 to probably 2020, do you believe those days are done? It takes an older team to win college basketball tournaments now.
So after last season, before this class, I would have said yes, but because you're in the NBA draft, you're seeing a lot of guys drafted from different countries across the world, not from college mostly. This year, it's going to be a lot of top-tier freshmen playing in college this year. So it's kind of getting back to that, but there was a stretch there after COVID where there wasn't really a ton of stud freshmen like there was in 2015 or 14 with all those Kentucky teams or really good Duke teams. And I think now with the COVID years are getting behind us, we could be getting back to that with how good this freshman class has been. But if you would have asked me last year, I would have been yeah, it very well could be done.
Ohio State, by the way, Amari Bynum is a 6'8", 210-pounder, 4-star from Link Academy in Nebraska. He'll be coming in next year in the upcoming season here. He's a recruit in this class. And also Dorian Jones, who's the top player in the state of Ohio from Richmond Heights and Cleveland. He's a 6'3" shooting guard, 4-star. But they've got to get some bulk. Bradshaw was not good this year in the paint. They had a hard time rebounding. They need to get somebody. They could have used somebody like going back, like a Ken Johnson type in the middle there. They could have used somebody like that on this team this year. Coming up next, lots going on today. We get to cut off what's going on and what will be happening next. And probably like most segments today, we will end up talking more about college basketball than anything else. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not...
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gertis?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gertis was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be mean.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Hi, Kevin. How's my engine doing?
Well, you tell me, little lady.
What?
Ma'am, an engine is delicate. It's got a lot of parts rubbing together.
Oh, is that so?
Lube her up real nice, and she'll purr like a kitty cat.
How do you know so much about engines?
Well, I spent a lot of time under that hood.
Babe, she is running hot. Let's go. And next time, I get to play the mechanic.
Rev up the romance with Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
The Open Season Sportsman's Expo, presented by Progressive and Can-Am, this Friday through Sunday heads to the Ohio Expo Center. Tickets on OpenSeasonSportsman'sExpo.com. Buy early and save. Be sure to check out Tacticam and Toyota Tundra, official cell cam and truck of the Expo.
In-betweens are made for pizza. In between meals, meetings, thoughts, that's pizza time. Stop at Speedway and get 2 hot, delicious slices of pizza and a Mountain Dew 20-ounce for $5 with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 4/29/25. See app for full terms.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Jacob Reimer. We have finally made it. The music is at its loudest. Selection Sunday is here. But before we get to the unveiling of the brackets, there are still some conference tournaments to be decided. 5 conferences have schools looking to lock up an automatic bids to the NCAA Tournament today, headlined by Florida and Tennessee in the SEC at 1 o'clock. And later in the Big Ten, Wisconsin takes on Michigan with tip-off at 3:30. In hockey last night, the Blue Jackets were shut out by the New York Rangers 4-0 for their 3rd loss in a row. They have 2 games left on their homestand, looking to right the ship with a matchup Monday with the New Jersey Devils, and on Thursday they welcome in the Florida Panthers. And in the NBA, the Cavs go for their 17th win in a row here this afternoon at 1 o'clock. They welcome in the Orlando Magic. And former Buckeye Paris Campbell will not return to the Eagles next season, as he has signed a 1-year deal with the division rival Dallas Cowboys. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan.
You're listening to Ryan Day's favorite radio show on The Fan in this time slot on a Sunday. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
That's one hell of an endorsement. Ryan Day's favorite show on this time slot on a Sunday. Tito, DeVier, and you just heard Jacob Reimer there on the Sports Center update. Lots going on today. The Jackets lost 4-0 to the Rangers. Tough loss for them. They are now 2 points out of the second wild card spot, the second and final wild card spot. Because of that loss to the Rangers. They do have a game in hand, though, with the Rangers. Canadians are at 71 points, Jackets 70. Rangers 72. Ottawa running away a little with that first wild card spot at 77 points. The Jackets have, look, ever since their win over Detroit, they've had some struggles. They've dropped 5 of their last 6 games. And they've got the Devils here in town tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So Jackets hope to get back into their winning ways in, but it's a tough matchup with the Devils. They're a good team this year. So we'll have coverage of that game on the Fan. Also, other thing going on, the Crew drew with San Diego 1-1 yesterday. The Cavs host Orlando today, just now getting underway. Cavs trying to win a 17th straight game. And DeVier, I can't think of a team in recent memory in the NBA that has had this much success in the season, this late in the season, and has not been talked about much as a championship contender.
Yeah, I mean, they're picking up a lot of steam, and in terms of hitting on all cylinders, the way that Darius Garland is just in his groove and getting everybody rolling, and the way that Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are finishing right now, and we were talking the other week about Donovan Mitchell and his legacy kind of being on the line this season, right? It seems that everyone in that building is aware of these things, Tito, right? Like, and they're playing that way, and it's coming out every night. So, I mean, they're winning tight games. They're blowing people out too, as well. And going into the playoffs, Tito, you really want your team to look like the Cavs. Like, I mean, I would rest that. Hey, the Cavs look better than the Celtics right now. If I'm Joe Mazzulla, right? You know, you got to just honestly say that the way that they're playing now. Do the Celtics have championship genes and can turn it on? And basketball is one of those sports for those guys. Yeah, I get it, but Cavs are playing like it.
The Cavs are, and that's the interesting part is that I think people say, the Cavs, they're doing great, everything, but that Boston's just kind of, I don't want to say bored, but kind of going through the motions. They've already won a title. They won last year, and they know they can do it when they have to do it. They've maybe rested by getting ready for the playoffs. But, yeah, the Cavs have got 8-game lead on Boston. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference and get home court advantage throughout the playoffs, which will be interesting to see that. But it just seems like they're sort of there. People still say it's Boston. You know, people still talk a lot about the Knicks, although I don't think as much anymore. It feels like it's Cleveland or Boston coming out of the East. And the West, though, is a lot more wide open. LeBron now missing some time, and that's dropped the Lakers. They were the 2 seed for a while. Now they're down to the 5. The Warriors are the 6 seed. They've been playing. They've won 9 of the last 10 games. I know that. They've got a 7-game winning streak. They've been fun to watch. Steph Curry just went over 4,000 three-pointers for his career, the first player to hit that, and has his sights set on 5,000. And I saw this argument about, is he the best point guard ever?
Steph?
Yeah. And I know he's a point guard. I don't view him as a point guard, though.
He's the best combo guard ever.
Okay, I get behind that.
He's the best combo guard ever. Now, but he, like pure point guards in terms of Tito.
It's magic.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I know. It's magic.
Well, the unselfishness that, and I'm not saying Steph is a selfish guy,
No.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like the John Stocktons of the world.
Right.
I don't know if you can just put him in the point guard category.
I don't think you can either.
Okay.
I don't think you can either. I think it's funny that I brought up Magic and you brought up Stockton. That's all I'm going to say. I just think it's, Reimer, is that odd?
Yeah.
I thought so too. But you know what, though? It just shows where we're growing as people.
Oh, man.
I was just going to ask, where would you put Steph all time right now? Because I think,
like, as an all-time player?
Yeah, not like categorized by position.
See,
because I think I'd still put him over Magic.
I can't do that anymore because of the, like, I used to want to have the argument, the LeBron, Michael, whatever argument, who's better, who's top. It's impossible to do because of the eras and the rules. You know, everyone, Larry Bird won 3 in a row, three three-point shootouts in a row. Great outside shooter. He only attempted like 3 a game.
Well, here's the thing. I know the answer to your GOAT if you can tell me what was your favorite era of basketball.
That's true. You're right. Yeah. Actually, you know what, though? I think I've got LeBron as the GOAT. That was my favorite era of basketball. So
okay, I like that.
I think LeBron, and it's not a knock on Michael Jordan. It's just LeBron at his size and what he does, like he's been the one who I've seen as like the most physical force that can do so many different things. But again, like with LeBron in Michael's era, when you could just beat the hell out of people, and there would be like punches thrown and no foul. There was a time in a video of Robert Parrish clocking Bill Laimbeer in a playoff game and knocking him down in the paint, and there was no call.
Yeah, I know, but like at the same time, like LeBron, if he could be physical,
sure.
Like he's not a little man, he's a big dude. So
sure.
I think his even like the way that he could have been able to play just like offensively, like to push people and like he's a tough guy. You got to hear the Ron Artest story about like a 16-year-old LeBron that played in an open run with like Michael Jordan. These guys, he said he was like dominating. They said they fouled him hard and he got up. He said he's just tough.
Yeah,
I mean, and he has a lot of theatrics. Obviously, we've all seen him, fall to the floor, but at the same time, he's a physical force. That's a great way to what you said, Tito.
Yeah, I just with the eras thing, I can't. And Magic, but when Magic came up, Magic had the same advantage that LeBron has size-wise.
Size-wise,
a 6'9" point guard, and you got guys that are 6'2" guarding you.
Magic's not as athletic as Bron.
No, not at all.
Which is crazy,
no,
but that's what it would have looked like.
Yeah.
I got you.
I agree. So, anyway, that's interesting with Steph Curry, though, and how long he'll play. He's so much fun to watch. I'll ask both you guys a question. And, I do so many shows, so many people. I feel like I may have already asked you guys a question before. If I told you one player could win one more title, would you want it to be LeBron or Steph?
LeBron.
Steph.
I think I'd want LeBron, but neither one's a wrong answer. Look, I hope they both win one more at least.
I'm also on the side of Jordan being the GOAT, so that's a part of the Steph's also my favorite player.
Okay, yeah.
But that gives a slight push to also why I'm winning Steph.
Cornell and Yale going on right now with the winner advancing to the NCAA tournament. The Ivy League, I think they still do this, DeVier, they do a 4-team conference tournament. They don't put everybody in. It's just the top 4 teams play. And so Yale's up in that one 42-34 over Cornell that game early in the second half. Tennessee's got a 6-3 lead on Florida starting that one out in the SEC. I was surprised Auburn got beat. Florida and Tennessee are both very quality teams. They both will obviously be the NCAA tournament. Florida's one of those teams that I've only watched them play a couple of times. When I've watched them play, though, it feels like they can beat anybody.
They can play. They have a lot of good guards, and they can guard you, too, as well. I mean, they're going to get after Tennessee today, but Tennessee is one of those teams.
Yeah, Tennessee, they're well coached, and they're a good defensive team also, and we'll keep an eye on that game. Yeah, what do you got?
Florida kind of reminds me a lot of the 2017 North Carolina team because they're the best rebounding team in college basketball. And they have depth in the front court to add to that rebounding. They can defend and block shots as well, but then they have size in the backcourt within the guards they have are elite, and they probably have 5 guards that can just rotate in, score any way they want, and defend anybody. So that's where I think they might have a leg up on that North Carolina team is defensively, but just the makeup of their roster is a lot like that 2017 team.
Tito, that's why he didn't get invited to
that's exactly right. You know what he did just now? He just talked himself out of getting invited next year, too. Seriously, if he would give some dumb take that wasn't well thought out, like he see Ohio State as a sleeper Final Four team or something, if he would do something like that, he would for sure get an invite next year.
You got to work on your bluff.
I know, it's terrible. I know what's going to happen to me this year is happening to me every year. I will get roped in by Izzo. Now, Michigan State's a damn good team. They could do damage. They could also lose very early. And I will end up, when I fill out my bracket, I will look at who Izzo's coaching against. I'll say, coaching's the difference. And I'll put Izzo winning a few games, and I might look like an idiot.
Well, the 7 seeds, because I think they're going to end up being a 2 seed. The 7 it's more the 7 than the 10s, but the 7 seeds are actually very tough this year to where they could catch Michigan State on a good day.
By the way, fans doing their bracket challenge again this yeyear. So you can go to 971thefan.com and you can pre-register for that if you'd like. And you can win some money this year on that. You can win money every year on it, but I was in touch with Scotty Vegas, and $1,000 for first place this year. It's free to get on there and do it, but 971thefan.com is where you go, and you can then, when the bracket's revealed, fill out your bracket. Humble brag, not really, but last year among all the Channel 10 and 97.1 The Fan people that work here, the employees that put in brackets, I finished first. That's the first time I've ever won a bracket contest in my 53 years on this earth, and I filled out brackets when there were 48 teams in the tournament.
Reimer, how does that make you feel?
Well, the only way that I really have any kind of success is when North Carolina's good they go far.
That's exactly.
Because tell you what, when I was in high school, I was just collecting dough because that was when North Carolina they went to the title game in 16, and in 17 won it all.
Yeah, was that show how when he was in high school when I said Sean May? Yeah, that show how old I am.
Luke May.
Yeah, Sean May.
DeVier showing his age.
2018, I got because they were a 2 seed, and I still had them going to the Final Four, and they lost in the second round. So.
You remember that championship?
Oh, yeah,
he probably does.
No, he does. www.971thefan.com is where you go to register for that, and you can win $1,000. Coming up next, did you take his advice this week? We'll check in with full transparency with John Gerber next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Wake up with The Fan. Eat lunch with The Fan. Go to bed with The Fan. Dream about The Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay -108 than -110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Scott the Scots here. How did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? A little crabby. Get it? Crabgrass? Right now, there's a short window of time to apply Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer. It stops crabgrass before it invades and feeds your lawn for a fast green up after winter.
Save up to $20 today at the Home Depot or Lowe's for Scott's day-long saving time. Offers valid March 6th through 19th. See store for full details and product selection.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
Bo Bishop here. High Bank Distillery Co. is the most awarded distillery in America at the 2024 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Stop by your local liquor store to grab a bottle, or the 3 restaurant locations in Gahanna, Grandview, or Westerville. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell furnaces instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring's going to be here before you know it. I know it feels cold now, but before too long, you're going to be outside running around, jogging, wanting to do golf, explore time with your family, get outside and do the things you love. Just be active. And listen, a lot of my friends, they're asking me about QC Kinetics joint treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. And if you're wondering, maybe you could be a good candidate, let's see if the answer is yes to any of these questions. Quality of life impacted by chronic pain, knees, hips, back, shoulders, other things. Trouble sleeping, walking, day-to-day movement? Check. Next, avoiding surgery, the pain, the downtime? Check. Most importantly, do you miss doing the things I talked about when the spring and summer are here? Check. Don't wait. If you answered yes to one or any of those, you'd be a great candidate. You can go in there, go to QC Kinetics, ask for their free consultation, find out what it's all about, learn about the latest advances in regenerative medicine. They've got locations in Dublin and Gehenna, or you can go to qckinetics.com/Columbus, or better yet, call 380-208-4544.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Few showers, possibly a thunderstorm this morning with temperatures near 60 degrees. Temps will hold steady into the afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms possible through mid to late afternoon. Then our sky clearing as temperatures fall from the 60s into the 50s and eventually the 30s overnight. A clear sky to start Monday. Temperatures will be near freezing in the morning, and then in the afternoon, upper 40s to nearly 50 with sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
If you're starting your day any other way, you're doing it wrong. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
No, we don't shut up. Matter of fact, let's add another voice into this. This 1 o'clock hour is going to be a banger. We've got Clark Kellogg coming up at 1:30, but right now, the opening act, John Gerber. He is host of the From the Rough podcast, writer for Golf Central Magazine, our golf betting expert. Gerb, you've got the Players' Championship going on right now, and I'm curious, the Players' Championship likes to kind of get they like to put out the vibe that they're the fifth major. Do you think the Memorial or the Players is more like a fifth major?
Good afternoon. Yeah, that's a good question. I think that it's the Players' Championship, in my opinion, just because, it's a bigger field than the Memorial. The Memorial is more of a invitation. You rarely have, over 100 players in the field. But the Players' Championship is for the guys that are they're members of the PGA Tour, and it's the biggest field, and it's the most money. So, in my opinion, I certainly think it's the Players' Championship.
Absolutely, Gerb. Hope you're doing well, man. I missed you while you're in Ohio. We got to connect next time you get back. But the length of our relationship, you've been pretty tough on Rory. You've been pretty tough on him. Do you feel like this is the year that he kind of turns the corner? Are you seeing sparks? Are you seeing old flashes?
Well, first off, I wanted to wish you happy birthday, and definitely when I get in town, we'll go out for a beer, because I'm sure JT didn't buy you a beer and wish you happy birthday. So
no,
DeVier, it'll be for both of us. It'll be for both of us.
No, this is good right here, because he called me on my birthday and was like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Well, I need you there at the station at 7:30 a.m."
That's not how I said it.
And then I was like, "All right, Tito." And I was like, he was like, "All right." And I was like, "Well, you're not going to tell me happy birthday or anything?" He was like, "Oh, well, yeah, have a good day." And he hung up.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about absolutely right for him. But when you say Rory, I need to see a little bit more out of Rory in terms of how he's driving the golf ball. I've always claimed that when he drives the golf ball well, no one in the world can beat him. I am optimistic because he's not really driving the golf ball well here at the Players Championship, and he's winning the golf tournament, or these guys are giving it away a little bit. So he's getting, again, he's not driving it well, but he's still, scrambling, and some of the shots that he's hitting from the rough is really impressive. But I think for him to kind of get over this hump, I think he has to drive the golf ball a little bit better, especially if he's going to contend at Augusta.
The three guys you had winning this week as your top winners are all like in that 4-under range. It'd be really quite a monumental effort for them to get up there and win this thing. So that's probably what happened. But you did have Corey Connors in your top 10. He's playing well, right?
Yeah, it's been a tough little stretch in terms of this week. The weather's hurting some of these guys. We had a bad draw with some of our picks. You're right. We have 3 of our top 4 guys that we did pick sit at that 4th position, but we do have Corey Connors to finish in the top 10 plus 475. So hopefully we can get him through the finish line, and he can kind of, help us recoup a little bit of the money. So it's going to be a little losing week. We are completely transparent when we do have good weeks and bad weeks. So this is a week we're going to lose a little bit. We're still a little bit in the red, but we have a good little stretch of golf coming up with the Valspar, the 2 Texas events, and then the Masters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with the Valspar thing and being down there, and when you got events in Texas, that's where the most, right? Or am I wrong on that? Because I know you spend a lot of time down there. Is that when they're on the Texas swing and doing the events out there? Is that when you feel most confident in your picks?
Well, I feel, for the Byron Nelson and the Colonial, I have the opportunity to do some on-course reporting. So I'm at the event all week on the driving range, really seeing how these guys are playing. I mean, you can tell a lot. I can tell a lot when I'm there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday than I do certainly when I'm not there. So I can pick up a lot more inside information in the Texas events, especially Byron Nelson Colonial. I won't go to Houston and San Antonio, but that the Houston event is a newer golf course that they played the last couple of years, so that's a little tough one. And in San Antonio is tough because you don't really know how these guys are getting prepped for Augusta. So, those 2 events are tough, but certainly when Byron Nelson comes around and Colonial, I have a little bit more of an insight and have a tendency to do very well in those events for sure.
He is at Jay Gerber, PGA Pro on Twitter, our golf betting expert, also Bridgeview Club champion, RIP Bridgeview. So we can't look it up. There's no plaque or anything, but yes, he was a stud at the 9-hole Bridgeview course many moons ago. Gerb, the Roy thing, though, it's like, DeVier brought it up, but is there somebody else? Is there another big name player who hasn't really shown much lately that you think could have a really good year this year?
To be honest with you, I think you just have to go to the live guys. I hate to say that you're not seeing a lot from Koepka and you're not seeing a lot from Bryson DeChambeau, but you're going to start to see those guys, I think, when this merger comes through. I really don't like talking a lot about live golf, just some of the decisions that these guys made. But, I look for DeChambeau to contend again, and I'm really waiting to see for Brooks Koepka to kind of bounce back and show that he is one of the best players in the world.
John Gerber joining us here. Follow him again on the X at Jay Gerber, PGA Pro. He is our golf betting expert, and he tells everything's out there. Did you have any matchups for today, head-to-heads or not? I don't know if you saw any or not for the last couple of days.
Yeah, no matchups the last couple of days just because of the weather, and they've had some intermittence in terms of what they were going to do and some of the decisions, like their split tees today and threesomes. It's really kind of hard to gauge some of these matchups. I mean, you look at some of these guys, they kind of want to get finished. So, and go on to the next week because it's so tough and looks like the weather's coming in. So no matchups. We are still 15-4-2 on our matchups for the year. We're going to be ramping those matchups up, especially with Valspar next week. I know that golf course extremely well. So looking forward to getting back on with the matchups next week.
Gerb, when they do that with, like you said, the threesomes and the split tees and all of that, how much does that affect a player?
These guys are such professionals. It doesn't really affect them more than what people think. I think more so the guys that are maybe a few shots off the lead, it could affect them a little bit. But, these guys have been through so much in terms of weather delays and stuff. It's kind of second nature to those guys to never really kind of know what's going on when it comes to the weather. So, yeah, I think it's just status quo for most of these guys.
Gerb, really, man, buddy, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much. We will talk again next week.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. That was John Gerber, yes, joining us there, and also wishing DeVier a happy birthday. DeVier turned 38 yesterday. Right, DeVier?
35.
Whatever. Same thing. And you don't know if I would have wished you happy birthday tonight. You cut me off before I could even get there. So and I didn't say coming here at 7 o'clock. What I said to you was, can you? Do you want to? Anyway. Coming up in 2 minutes.
But that's come here in like corporate terms.
If you think I'm corporate, you went to the wrong school on who told you what corporate was. I am no corporate at all. Coming up next in 2 minutes, CBS and former Buckeye Clark Kellogg joins us. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Hi, Kevin. How's my engine doing?
Well, you tell me, little lady.
What?
Ma'am, an engine is delicate. It's got a lot of parts rubbing together.
Oh, is that so?
Lube her up real nice, and she'll purr like a kitty cat.
How do you know so much about engines?
Well, I spent a lot of time under that hood.
Babe, she is running hot. Let's go. And next time, I get to play the mechanic.
Rev up the romance with Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you? Cheering on your team at that big game? A music festival with friends? A family vacation? Or maybe a vacation from your family? Live your best nonstop life with low fares and nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Non-stop flights from Columbus to Fort Lauderdale, one way for as low as $44. Must be purchased by 4/24/2025 for travel between 3/13/2025 and 8/17/2025. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
A Tim Hortons treat with Nutella is the perfect way to add a little joy to your day, whatever your day brings. Imagine reading your book with a smooth hazelnut mocha iced cap topped with Nutella, or tackling your to-do list with a delicious croissant filled with Nutella and whipped sweet cream. And when you're heading to the office, grab a hazelnut mocha iced coffee with cold foam, because there's nothing better than combining that irresistible Nutella taste with your favorite Tims. Treat yourself with the Nutella lineup, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants, naturally and artificially flavored.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, Fan Sports Sunday. Tito and DeVier and Reimer with you. Now, peek behind the curtain here. We pre-recorded an interview with Clark Kellogg. Clark Kellogg's kind of busy right now. We talked to him early this morning. I will tell you, DeVier, being a man of God, could not be in here on time could not be in here for that. He was at church. And so, the valid excuse. So you're not going to hear DeVier asking questions, but you will hear Reimer and I interviewing Clark Kellogg from CBS, former Buckeye, and we'll play that for you now. Here is Clark. All right, now we're joined on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System hotline by Clark Kellogg from CBS, former Buckeye, former Cleveland Villa St. Angela Joseph player. Jacob's too young to know this, Clark, but not me. 51 points and 24 rebounds in a state championship game. They lost to Columbus East there. Jacob, Clark also had a Converse shoe named after him. Is that correct also?
Well, they stamped Special K on the shoe, and I had an endorsement relationship with Converse, so my own shoe is probably a stretch, but a relationship with Converse is accurate.
All right. So Clark Kellogg played. By the way, Clark, I know this has been weighing on your mind since the early 80s. I have forgiven you for leaving after your junior year now. You're my favorite player. I needed you back for one more year.
Yeah, I think most of the Buckeye Nation has. It was really interesting during that time. I was eager to move on. Loved my time at Ohio State. And I still have a couple of teammates who feel like we would have been really good had I hung around for the senior year. But I was already thinking about my life beyond college and took that step. If you could rewind the clock, I might consider staying in this day and age. But it is what it is, and things have worked out well. And I'm still part of the Buckeye family and grateful to be so.
Certainly. So, Clark, we got Selection Sunday coming up today, and I don't know, do you have an opinion on who you think the top 4 seeds should be or will be?
I think it's pretty clear. I mean, Auburn has had the best season from start to finish of anybody, despite the 3 losses in 4 games here recently. But their body of work all season long has clearly earned the Tigers the overall number 1 seed. I think Duke has been just as impressive in how they've handled the ACC, Houston, and what it's done in the Big 12 this year. And then I think Florida. I actually think Florida might be the best number 1 seed in the field, even though I think they will be the 4th number 1 seed. And I really don't know if the game between Florida and Tennessee should have a bearing on the number 1 seed. I think Florida's done enough, even if they don't win that game against Tennessee, to be the 4th overall number 1 seed, in my opinion.
Clark, to that, I was just wondering, this might sound a little crazy, but I know Auburn and Duke have been really good throughout the whole year, the whole body of work and everything. But I feel like as we're getting now to it, the race for the national championship is getting a lot tighter with, we don't know the uncertainty around Cooper Flagg and his injury and Malik Brown being out for Duke, and Auburn having lost 3 of their last 4. Houston has now won 13 in a row. Florida's looking really good. Do you feel that same way, that it is now a lot tighter, or is it still Auburn and Duke against the field?
No, I've never felt that way. As a matter of fact, I've always felt that we very well could have no number 1 seeds in San Antonio. I just think, as I've watched hundreds of games and watched, I've learned 85 to 90 teams, only 68 will be in the field. I just think there are so many quality teams that are going to be seeded between 5 and 12 that it's going to be uber competitive. I've never felt there was a clear-cut favorite in this year's field. Clearly, when you talk seeding, that's different than talking about winning the championship. Your seeding is based on what you've done. The tournament is a new reset and restart, and we know that the teams that have looked the best don't always play the best in the tournament. And some teams that you haven't seen are playing as good or better than some of the top teams. And matchups become the real driving force. If you assume that everybody is healthy, which isn't always the case, but if that's a given, then matchups are the next most important component about tournament success. And so I just think there are so many quality teams, Gonzaga, Clemson, Memphis, UConn, Drake. Liberty is a really good double-digit seed team. I just think there are too many good teams for the 1 seeds to have a clear path to San Antonio.
Clark Kellogg joins us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline, CBS Sports, former Buckeye, former Indiana Pacer. Clark, I don't know if you fill out a bracket or not, but if you're looking at potential upsets in the years you've been doing this, and like you said, you have 90 teams you know a lot about this year, times how many years you've been doing this now. That's a lot of teams you've looked at. Is there a certain trait or a certain commonality you look for when you think this team could surprise some people as a Cinderella or get an upset early on?
No question. After we go from the matchup criteria, that's the first thing. As I'm watching teams, Drake's style, I'll give you an example. The Drake Bulldogs, they've won 30 games. Their style is very deliberate and disciplined. They're extremely active defensively, and they've got a player that looks like he could be an NBA guy in Bennett Sturts, stat sheet stuffing point guard. But their style plus his brilliance give them a chance in the right matchups to win. The same with Liberty. They're a smaller team, but they shoot threes. They've got excellent guards, even though they're diminutive in Porter and Matheny. But I look for a couple of things. One, experience and talent. I put those two things together as one, experience and talent. And then also, can you not be overwhelmed by the size of a high major team if you're a mid-major? So there are a number of teams that fit into that category. Then style of play. If you can frustrate a more talented team with pace of play, defensive disruption, those kind of things. And I think the one thing that you're always hoping for in teams that you're looking to pull upsets as double-digit seeds is multiple three-point shooters. big guys and small guys that can get it going from three is part of the recipe that I've seen over the last 15 years for sure in terms of, manufacturing upsets.
Yeah, I think UC San Diego, they're a team that's like a 12
they're
seed.
Right in that, no question.
Yeah,
no question
being a dangerous team right there for a 5 seed. But Clark, I got a two-parter here for you. I'm looking at the bubble, and there's a lot of teams for those last few spots. Potential bid stealers out there today. We saw that in the Mountain West last night. But there has been now some speculation that Ohio State might get in. What do you think the chances are of them getting in? And then if not, which of those teams on the bubble do you think, or would you put into the field, whether it's North Carolina? I know a lot of people are going at their quad 1 record, or Xavier, who's been playing some pretty good ball. Texas with their firepower and Trey Johnson. Who would you put in over in Ohio State then?
And Clark, you got to know this too. Reimer's a North Carolina fan, so you might crush him right now. Go ahead.
Hey, there's so much to say on this particular question. First and foremost, if you're a team that I like to say is on the stoop, then you've put yourself there, and you earned whatever you've deserved, whatever you earned, whether it's a chance to be in the field or not. You put yourself in the position to be questioned as to your credentials about being an NCAA tournament team. That's number one. There are multiple metrics now that the NCAA selection committee has at its disposal. They're grouped as predictive metrics, which kind of try to tell you what a team might do, and then resume metrics, which kind of show you what a team has done. Quad 1 wins, quad 2 wins. How did you fare against the schedule that you played, strength of schedule. So there are multiple layers of metrics. And then when you start being compared to other teams that are on the stoop, it becomes somewhat subjective as well as objective within the committee. There are 10 people there, majority vote rules as you're going through this cycle of scrubbing the teams. I don't know how Wake Forest and North Carolina are even being considered as potential stoop teams based on their body of work. Xavier has got 1 or 2 quad 1 wins, and I weigh those, personally, I would weigh those pretty heavily. Not because Ohio State has more, but I just think strength of schedule, non-conference schedule, particularly for the power conference teams. I put great weight on the non-conference schedule strength because power conference teams have more opportunities to get quality wins by virtue of the conference they play in. So therefore, the non-conference schedule strength is a big deal to me with middle-of-the-road power conference teams. That's just my personal bias. I would be one of 10 committee members, but Ohio State would weigh, in my mind, even if I didn't know the name of the school, just looking at a sheet with their resume, it would trump North Carolina's, it would trump Xavier's. Indiana beat Ohio State twice, so that might give Indiana a slight nod in head-to-head. But the number of teams that are being considered Ohio State on the criteria that I would value would have a good case. I think the reality is, guys, it's a 25 to 30% chance based on who else is on the stoop and how many spots really are available. And the last thing I'll say is bracketologists are really good. The Joe Lenardis and our Jerry Palm are tremendous at predicting what the committee is going to do, but there are always outliers and surprises because they aren't the committee. And so I think this season and this particular day sets up for perhaps a surprising outlier to be included or not included from amongst those teams that are on the stoop.
Something else Jacob doesn't know. Ohio State, if they don't make it, the loss to Northwestern 70-49 at home might be the one. Ohio State scored 49 points against Northwestern. Clark Kellogg scored 42 against Northwestern in one game. Just so you know, throwing that out there so you know that. Clark, I would be remiss if I didn't talk to you briefly. I want to get your thoughts on, look, I know he wasn't there last year, but he was a staple for years with the CBS coverage, and Greg Gumbel, who passed away. I'm curious your thoughts on what it's like to work with Greg Gumbel, and then we'll go completely the other side of the spectrum, and what's it like to work with Charles Barkley?
Well, with Greg, obviously a unbelievable icon as a broadcaster, and even better as a man in person. I had the privilege of being next to him for over 20 years, and we shared a lot of time together as professional colleagues. And I'm so thankful for what I was able to learn from him for my life, how to treat people, how to handle the platform of your position in a way to uplift others, how to always be gracious and to be calm in the midst of chaos. Just tremendously indebted to what he showed me as a colleague and as a friend. And while we won't have him going forward, he's always remembered, and a part of him lives with me and all of those that he touched in such a positive way. Great class and remarkable calm and composure as kind of the air traffic controller for our shows, whether it was Selection Sunday or some of the Final Four shows, but always classy, competent, and humble. And those are attributes that serve anybody well. It was a dear partner, colleague, and friend, and it'll be hard not to think about him often as we navigate this year's road to the Final Four. And then on the other hand, to flip gears a bit, I've had the privilege of being with Charles and Kenny and Ernie since coming back into the studio in 2014. And their personalities, the mutual respect we have, the fun that is authentic and genuine amongst us and hopefully is felt and seen by the viewers is a real gift. And I love the unpredictability and the humor that Charles brings because it's who he is. There's nothing fake, nothing pretentious about him. Same with Kenny and Ernie. So been fortunate, man. Just love the fun that we get to have covering one of the greatest sports events on the calendar.
How much has Chuck paid you in golf bets? Because I know you're a better golfer than him.
Yeah, we haven't been out there together. We've been at events in the past, but he and I have never been in the same foursome yet. My hope and prayer is that happens in 2025 sometime so I can get some of that big money that Turner pays him. And all the Capital One commercials that he does, too.
Hey, we know, look, you can put the extra money there in the church basket when they pass it around because Charles will fund the church for you with the way he bets.
Yeah, he enjoys having some action.
He does.
As he's watching, that's for sure. Yeah, but he's a wonderful guy. As genuine and authentic and funny as he appears on that one-way box, that's who he is. So he's a joy to be around. That whole team has added greatly to our coverage, and we're a good group. We're a good group together. I love being part of the team.
All right, Clark. Well, I hope you got caught up on your sleep because your sleep ends now for a couple weeks. We appreciate the time so much, man. Thank you, Clark.
Yep, my pleasure. Jeff, Jacob, take care, guys.
That was Clark Kellogg. Man, I'm telling you, that dude is. I'm so glad he took time to talk to us today because, this is insane season for him now. So, but he joined us there on the Bryant Heating Cooling System fan guest hotline. And I think, you put the interview out there on the X. Can you do that? Can you put the interview on Twitter for us? Can you do that? Thanks, Jake. Appreciate that. All right, coming up next, how do college athletics discourage transfers? They may have a way. We'll talk about that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And betting reduced juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 five-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
Speedway knows the in-between is the best time for pizza. In between meetings, pencil in a pizza. In between this commercial you're listening to right now, eat a pizza. And in between meal times, that's when you need it the most. That's why at Speedway you can get 2 hot, delicious slices of pizza and a Mountain Dew 20-ounce for $5 with Speedy Rewards. With pepperoni, cheese, and extreme meat, your next stop at Speedway will be in-betweenier than ever. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 4/29/25. See app for full terms.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get 1 line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Bishop and Friends.
One of the meat delivery services, they'll send it like every month. The steaks are too thin for me. I like a thicker cut.
You like a thicker cut?
Yeah.
You like your meat thick.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Cellar.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Slightly. Okay. By the way, Clark Kellogg on that last segment. Loved having him on. I was thinking about this, DeVier. If you look at the people who have been like Ohio State legends and have gone on and represented like the university, like nothing off the court, nothing off the field, no problems. You know, it's like just and they've done it for years. you've got obviously Archie. Then I think it's Clark. And then maybe Eddie. You know, I'm trying to think who else will be in that, who's been gone for a while and has still, though, like just been.
Herbstreit's up there.
Herbstreit be up there. So maybe that's the 4. Maybe that'd be the what you would call like the Mount Rushmore of that. But Clark's, he's good. He's good people, man. Clark's a good man. Okay, so there's a story in The Athletic I saw, and this was Stuart Mandel and Ralph Russo put this out a few days ago about how the colleges are trying to fight back on players that are leaving, departing through the transfer portal. And there's some schools trying to put language into NIL deals that would punish the players for leaving. For instance, in the article, one Big 12 school required the athlete to pay a buyout of equal to 50% of his remaining compensation if he transferred before the end of the deal's term. So if he left for that, whatever the buy, you have to pay 50% of what was left back to the school. An ACC school required an athlete to pay back 100% of his earnings if he transferred before January 31st of 2026. It also says there's one Big Ten's player contract. And this was says on the straight from the article, based on a suggested template the conference sent to all its members, requires the athlete to pay liquidated damages in the event he transfers, and another defers 2/3 of the athlete's payment for the coming season until the end of January after the portal closes. So, like, you get all this money coming to you. 2/3 of it, though, comes after the portal closes, though. And so I think those are interesting. I think we're going to start seeing that more and more.
Yeah, I like that after the portal closes. I mean, and here, you know, Ross was talking about this, just creating a system, creating some type of structure for this new reality that we live in, and getting a handle on NIL is number one priority, but it's 1A, 1B for me. We got to get a handle on this portal, Tito.
Mm-hmm.
So rules like this and coming up with ideas that can limit that mindset with the portal. I mean, these kids from this time frame are going to be the luckiest kids in history. They may NIL had no portal restrictions, right? Yeah. So I think at sometimes we see this change here in the near future.
Yeah, we're figuring things out as we go with this, and college athletics will be much different. It changes every month. It seems like something new comes out and changes how this looks. By the way, in the chat, I got to make sure I give a shout out to Brandon on this. He also said put Jack Nicklaus on that list.
Absolutely.
That's a good one, right? That's another one right there that we could put on the list.
He's a legend.
He is a legend, and he's done so much for the community with the Memorial Tournament and for one of the most popular, most famous golfers of all time. It's like him and Tiger and him, and that's it. And that's all you can really say on as far as a list of greatest golfers ever. So yeah, getting back to the story about the college athletics, though, is that I understand why they are trying to do this. There's a guy named Shane Burnham who is a former FBS defensive line coach. He is right now the director of football for Ascension Sports Consulting, and he says it's predatory what these schools are doing. He thinks that there's no reason to have this kind of language in there, but the players are going to get paid, and I'm all in favor of the players getting paid. I am all in favor of that. But there does need to be some kind of penalty if A, if they don't follow through, and B, they decide to leave or something like that. Like, there should be some kind of like a payback on that, because the school, NIL, whatever, they're investing a lot of money into these kids.
I mean, yeah, can you imagine the investors around town, the Michi Johnson investors or somebody like that? And here's the thing. I mean, with NIL, I was thinking about this. Yes, you can make money. Yeah. But also, at an earlier age, that person who's in that business or whatever, section or sector of business that they're in, I'm pretty sure if it was real estate, you probably won't buy an apartment complex with them.
Right. Yeah.
right. So you've severed that relationship. And so those are some of the harsh realities for those guys that are in this for sports reason, and you're taking money, but it does affect your business in the future, and you will cut off contacts networking wise if you do take a bunch of money, Tito, and don't perform.
Right. And so, yeah, we'll see how. So, like I said, all this stuff's going to keep changing. You're going to see the contracts, the language changing dramatically in some of these things as schools and players and agents and lawyers and people figure it out and where the loopholes are. But there's a huge market, I believe, for, and I've told Michael Bennett this before, who's...
Where's the market at, Tito?
What I'm saying, like with Michael Bennett, though, what I've told him, though, is that, someone like him with his expertise as far as he's a lawyer now, right? He's passed the bar, and who has expertise being a college athlete, being an NFL player, and like someone like that to help guide some of these families through this.
Yes.
When they've got a 17-year-old kid who maybe the family has had no prior experience dealing with something like this. And to get somebody else, get another voice, get somebody who's qualified in there, who has been in those shoes, not necessarily NIL shoes, but in the shoes of trying to make your career choices monetarily. I think someone like that could really help out in some of these situations.
Absolutely. I mean, you need that. I mean, it's something that where our program is going to go. More life skills, more training. I mean, you had guys during my time that's going to make sure you go to class.
Yeah.
Right? You got class checkers. And you got to make sure you're going to tutor. And that checklist now is expanded for that role. Yeah. That checklist goes to let's make sure we follow financial advisors, CPAs. Let's review contracts.
Right.
Let's help and make sure we're doing the right things and we're offsetting things philanthropically. So these guys have a lot more on their plate, right? And so for an idea like Michael Bennett, you might have outlined a role for him.
Yeah.
We need to hire him over there. We need a guy like that.
Yep, I agree. All right, coming up next, call up anything going on right now and later today in the world of sports. That's next on Fan Selection Sports, Selection Day Sunday on the Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
We've all got it, that one crazy thing you've always wanted to do, that bucket list goal. Then a cancer diagnosis, and that one thing still goes according to plan. I would know. I'm getting my first tattoo right now, while my 3 beautiful daughters laugh hysterically at me. 58 years old, 4 years of cancer-free checkups at Ohio Health. Go ahead and get a picture, girls. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not...
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gerdes?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gerdes was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
When you join the plus side with AAA, that's all you'll have to do. Or you could learn to change your own tire.
Hey fam, what's up? Today I'm gonna teach you to change a flat. Before we start, make sure it's not raining, or hailing, or lightning.
Skip the hard work. On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Hi, Kevin. How's my engine doing?
Well, you tell me, little lady.
What?
Ma'am, an engine is delicate. It's got a lot of parts. Rub it together.
Oh, is that so?
Lube her up real nice, and she'll purr like a kitty cat.
How do you know so much about engines?
Well, I spent a lot of time under that hood.
Babe, she is running hot. Let's go. And next time, I get to play the mechanic.
Rev up the romance with Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports. Sports Center.
And I'm Jacob Reimer. We have finally made it. The music is at its loudest. Selection Sunday is here. But before we get to the unveiling of the bracket, there are still some conference tournaments to be decided. 5 conferences have schools looking to lock up automatic bids to the NCAA Tournament, headlined by Florida and Tennessee in the SEC. After one half in Nashville, Florida leads 39-30. And later today in the Big Ten, Wisconsin takes on Michigan with tip-off at 3:30. In the NBA, the Cavs are currently in action, going for their 17th win in a row as they host the Orlando Magic. So far, a tight one in the first half up in Cleveland. In hockey last night, the Blue Jackets were shut out by the New York Rangers 4-0 for their 3rd loss in a row. They have 2 games left on their homestand, looking to right the ship with a matchup Monday with the New Jersey Devils. And on Thursday, they welcome in the Florida Panthers. And former Buckeye Paris Campbell has signed a 1-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Final hour of the program. Thank you so much for tuning in today. By the way, somebody wanted me to pass a message on to you, DeVier. That was Marilyn Monroe singing to JFK and also to DeVier Posey, who turned 35 yesterday.
Marilyn, I appreciate that.
That was nice of her, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yale is about to punch their ticket. They have a 9-point lead with about 10 seconds left in that game. A high-scoring game, 89-80 right now. Yale's in the lead there. Other things going on. You heard Reimer talk about the fact Florida's got a 9-point lead on Tennessee at the half in the SEC championship game. In the NBA, the Cavs going for a 17th consecutive win. Playing Orlando right now, the Cavs lead 45-43, about a little over 3 minutes to go in the second quarter there. Other NBA, Mavericks lead 76ers 63-55. That game is late in the second quarter there. You heard the Jackets lost 4-0 to the Rangers. And so because of that, the Jackets now fall out of that second wild card spot. They've got some work to do. What else have we got here? Oh, the Crew in San Diego played to a 1-1 draw. Coming up today, later on here in college basketball, actually getting ready to go underway right now, I believe. We've got Memphis and UAB. They will be playing for a conference championship there as well. That game actually starts at 3 o'clock, I guess, is that one is. That's the AAC championship final. UAB comes in at 22-11. Memphis at 28-5. And then you've got at 3:30, Wisconsin and Michigan playing for the Big Ten championship. Kind of weird. I really thought Michigan State would be in there, but that's just Izzo teasing me for disappointment I will have when I fill out my bracket later on today. 6 o'clock selection show.
It's all leaders and legends kind of matchup.
You're right, it is. It is on 10 TV. You can catch all the action for that one. Reimer, plug your show again for tonight at around 5:45. You and your boys.
Yep, Mad About Hoops doing a live reaction show for the selection show on the Fans YouTube page starting about 5:45. So we'll be finding it out just as you guys are, but we're reacting to it.
And then we'll all fill out brackets tonight.
Is this a corporate show, or are you guys sitting, chilling back, having some coffee?
I mean, we'll just be chilling in the comfort of our homes, I think.
You're going to be home. It's not studio then. It's in homes.
Nope. It's in home. You might have a little.
There's some leeway there. I think there's a loophole. I think I found a loophole there.
There's some COVID rules in there where you can just be waist up, Jake. You know. So.
Everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. Anyway.
Tito, can I ask him? Let me ask Reimer. What's the greatest all-time top 3 college basketball shorts?
Shorts?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you? This is a good one.
Man.
Sorry.
No, that's a good.
Bias me is going to put the Argyle, North Carolina blue.
Yeah. Okay. Carolina blue. Yeah, I got you.
But which ones with the UNC on the butt? You remember those ones? You might be too young for those.
I think he's too young for those.
You don't remember those?
No.
They had the UNC sign. You got to do your research. They had the UNC sign on the butt, and then they had the Argyle stripes on each side. Those were fire.
Yeah. That's what they got now is just the Argyle down the side.
Yeah, see. Okay.
Kentucky's had some tough ones.
Yeah.
Trying to think of
the
some
first I remember, the first
of.
I paid attention to was Fab Five. Like, that's the first time I paid attention to the shorts.
Yeah, shorts.
Because they had the really long, baggy ones, that's what I really remember.
I think Fab, no matter what Michigan comes, it doesn't beat the Mateen Cleaves, Flintstone, Spartan short.
Question for you, does Chris Webber still have a timeout?
I don't know if he does it. We can check on that one, though. We'll do that in the break. Next break, we'll do a little quick research on that one. But with I say this every year, DeVier, for the March Madness, I've got things I do. And this week, I am going to watch the 30 for 30 with North Carolina State. I've had Derek Wittenberg on the show before talking about it. Loved having him on the show a couple of times, actually. And also, I'll watch the I Hate Christian Laettner one. Sometimes watch the Michigan one, too, just because they're all so basketball-centric and there's a lot of stuff about finals and
Fab Five
tournament.
Really good.
The Fab Five one is really good. Jalen Rose produced that one. And look, okay, Ohio State, yes, through and through. You got to respect, though, what the Fab Five was able to do. I know they didn't win a championship. I get that. Going to the finals twice, though, in their first 2 years, and the way they came on the scene and what they were able to do. 5 freshmen didn't start together until like midway through the season. The game against Notre Dame is when they first, all 5 of them started. But the impact they had on college basketball, the impact they had on pop culture is undeniable.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing for me with the Fab Five is what they did for college basketball by just being freshmen and playing. Just the basketball impact. Obviously, culture and NCAA violations. Yes, right. It's a crazy story there, but just culturally who they were at that time, and then just basketball-wise, they were just real. Like, just the mindset that 5 freshmen can come here and start and play. And that was the best part about that, Doc, is when they all starting that season. That was good.
When they see it on the chalkboard when he's drawing it up and when Fisher's drawing it up and he sees it and you see Jalen Rose's reaction when he talks about what he kind of sits up a little bit. Ray Jackson was the last one to be the starter. The other 4 had started and played quite a bit, but that team though and how they took off and they were polarizing. If you were young, you probably loved them. If you were older, you probably hated them.
Yep.
But you knew about them. Yeah. You knew about them. Yep. I like what Jalen says in the documentary, like, you say what you want about us, but you know who the Fab Five are. Who are the 5 that started for North Carolina in that game when Weber called the timeout? Most people can't name that starting 5, but you know who the Fab Five are. But anyway, I do things
Reimer
like that,
knows.
though. Reimer doesn't know. Reimer, who's starting 5 on that team that beat Michigan? You don't know it. No, you don't know it.
I mean, Montross.
Okay, there we go. Montross. Okay, there we go. That's the one you're going to name.
Was Jerry Stackhouse on that team?
I don't know if Stack was. I can't name him. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, because Jeff
McInnis.
There was a group of like him and Vince, like those studs that didn't win it.
No, that was like Mashburn because they're older than Vince and those guys.
I want to say Coda.
Ed Coda. He might have been on that team as well.
Coda, Yep.
Those are things I always do though. Those get me in the mood for March Madness and.
Sorry, Mashburn is Kentucky. I apologize.
Yeah, Mashburn's Kentucky. Yeah, but he was in that era, though. He was around that time, too. But is there anything tradition-wise either of you do either before or during? Do you have anything a certain place you go, how much time you spend doing a certain activity, watching the basketball? Is there anything special either of you do for March Madness?
For me, it's when I was living in Houston. First time, like I always like to go and watch games in high school or whatever, but living in Houston, I would go eat crawfish and watch March Madness and eat and drink beer because it's like that perfect time in off season when you're in the league. So, that's my thing. Crawfish, a nice seafood broil, a beer, and some March Madness all day. I'd probably sit there and eat 7 pounds of crawfish. Easily.
And you'd burn it off walking out to the car because you were an athlete and that's the way you did it.
Easily 7 pounds.
And you'd lose weight eating it. How about you, Reimer?
I think during high school, I would try to find ways to get it on my laptop or something like that, or have it on TV in the cafeteria. But I now probably just chill at home and watch it in a quad box or whatever that YouTube TV gives me.
It is so much different now. Because when I used to work for Damon's back in the mid-'90s, and there was not the quad box. There was not, you got the CBS games, and that was all you got. And
for
so,
that region. Yep.
Yeah, and so Damon's restaurants, we would have all the games on there, and there'd be people lined up at like 9 o'clock in the morning on that Thursday outside the door to come in and get a table so they can watch all the games all day long. And there was such an energy. That's what as much as I love. Look, I love
March Madness, baby.
But I'm saying I love how accessible it is now for all of us. Yep. I love that. But I miss that energy of just there was 100 people, whatever, 150 people in this room, and just living and dying with every basket. Someone make a basket, half the room cheers, half the room boos, gets upset about it. Like that. And that's what I feel in Vegas too. I've told you on the break though, like going to Vegas for March Madness. Scotty Vegas got back from the conference tournament week, but going there the first weekend of March Madness.
When did you work at the
Damon's? It was like mid 90s.
Those were good years.
Yeah, that was good back then.
Yeah,
the NFL too. You did the Sunday ticket. No one could get Sunday ticket unless you had the satellite dish, and so like NFL Sundays, college football Saturdays, all that stuff. But now it's so accessible now that those kind of places don't do nearly what they did. But anyway, though, so I'm pumped about this week. I got to believe Thursday and Friday will be the least productive work weeks of the year for most companies.
No.
Right?
You said that about the Super Bowl.
No, I said Monday would be, yes.
And then you also said that about the college football playoffs. I just think after big events, Tito, you have less productive work weeks.
You know what? I can't remember the last time I had a productive work week, period. I mean, seriously, like June 19th or whatever, sometimes August 3rd, those are very unproductive days for me for no reason other than I suck. Coming up next, a wild week in the NFL. Yes, we're going to switch gears slightly and talk about what happened in the NFL this week. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hi, welcome to IKEA. Look at that selection of outdoor furniture. Yeah, whatever your space or budget, you'll find a setup for outside. How about an outdoor chaise lounge for my get some sun side? Yeah, and a table for my come on over, I'm grilling side. And outdoor lights for my date night on the patio side. Ooh, you're good. I try. We've got what you need to create an outdoor oasis. Plus, delivery starts at $19 when you shop online or choose to pick up at your local store today.
Go to IKEA-USA.com for more details. Restrictions apply. Some products may require assembly.
Transform your home in one weekend with paint from Menards. Get a paint that combines durability and gorgeous color. Dutch Boys Forever Interior Paint and Primer in One offers powerhouse protection with its stain-blocking, odor-reducing technology. Refresh your home today with Dutch Boy Paint. Get a gallon on sale now through March 23rd. View our entire selection of Dutch Boy Paint at Menards.com. Plus the weekly flyer and other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
In-betweens are made for pizza. In between meals, meetings, thoughts, that's pizza time. Stop at Speedway and get 2 hot, delicious slices of pizza and a Mountain Dew 20-ounce for $5 with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 4/29/25. See app for full terms.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the Fan. Very good. Now set a second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the Fan's HD3 and save the Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hit a home run for happy hour and ask your Twin Peaks girl about local specials on drafts, cocktails, shots, and more.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
The best matchup is you in a new Kia from Coghlan Kia. Get into a new Kia now with $0 down. Get 0% financing on select new Kias and make 0 payments for 3 months on any new Kia in stock. Visit CoglanKia.com.
0% for 72 equals $13.89 per 1,000 financed on Nero EV, EV6, and EV9 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 90 days deferred payments until June 2025. Qualified manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. No security deposit. Residency restrictions may apply. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you? Cheering on your team at that big game? A music festival with friends? A family vacation? Or maybe a vacation from your family? Live your best nonstop life with low fares and nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Non-stop flights from Columbus to Fort Lauderdale, one way for as low as $44. Must be purchased by 4/24/2025 for travel between 3/13/2025 and 8/17/2025. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A few showers possible this afternoon, especially early. Temperatures fall from about 60 into the 50s this evening. And then overnight, as our sky clears, we'll have a frosty start to Monday morning with temperatures near freezing. But Monday afternoon, sunshine returns and we warm up to the low 50s. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan. During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. It's Tito. It's Reimer. It's this guy. He knew it was Stevie. Good for you.
Reimer didn't get that.
No, Reimer didn't get it.
No.
I told you 8th grade. Go ahead,
I'm
Reimer.
the one that put it in there.
I know you did. But you didn't know what
I
it was.
got it.
I got it. I got it in 8th grade. In 8th grade, we were singing, because at the time it was a popular song, in the choir, We Are the World.
We are the
And me, being the clown that I was, and still continue to be.
Absolutely.
When you were 1,000% the class clown.
Yeah, okay, but so
I can't imagine a untamed Tito.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I got, and this is back when you could get away with this. I got so many swats from teachers and administrators. And one day, we're doing We Are the World, and the Stevie Wonder part comes on, and I put on dark glasses and start swaying the head while I'm singing it.
Oh, man.
Now, at that exact moment, our vice principal, Mrs. Bosley, walked in.
Yep.
Huge Stevie Wonder fan. Was very offended by what I did. Pulled me out of class and gave me a swat. The next day, when choir starts, Mrs. Bosley comes in again. I haven't done anything yet. She pulls me out and gives me a swat. And I asked her why. She said, this is a warning swat because I know you're going to do Stevie again.
Oh, wow.
So, very painful, but I thought I did a good impression of him back in the 8th grade, 1985, Clinton Middle School, RIP that school. Okay, so NFL. We're still waiting to hear what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Vikings aren't sure if they want him. Rodgers wants the Vikings.
We're not waiting. I'm not waiting.
If he doesn't go to the Vikings, it's to be Steelers or Giants.
Yep.
And Steelers need a quarterback. They did go out and get DK Metcalf, which I love, but they still need somebody to throw him the ball. And by the way, that person throwing the ball is not Mason Rudolph, I hope. But you've got Russell Wilson still out there, who met with the Browns, meeting with the Giants. You've got potentially Kirk Cousins, although the Falcons just kept him on the roster on Saturday at 4 o'clock, so he was still on their roster. They owed him $10 million bonus right there. So, but I think they're still going to try to trade him. But the one I really liked was Justin, not from a Steelers standpoint, because I wanted Fields to stay in Pittsburgh. Fields to the Jets, though, and you reunite him with Garrett Wilson there.
Josh Myers.
I think it's a
Jeremy Rucker.
Yeah, I think it's a very good fit for Justin Fields, especially with a new coaching staff and culture getting involved. You know, like if it was the old Jets, I'd be like, no, it's a dumpster fire. I wouldn't want you there. Because so much we know about the way players have success, DeVier, is based on the situation they go to.
Yes.
He didn't have a great one in Chicago.
Yes.
Better in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh wanted Russell Wilson to start. But I think this is a great opportunity for him and for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's done very well with mediocre quarterback play.
Yeah, no, I think that whole situation with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers felt like, to me, an attack on Garrett Wilson. I don't know if it's just because I'm an Ohio State wide receiver, but I felt attacked. Mm-hmm. Like I even felt like the ball was being forced to Devontae in certain situations, at the end of the season, especially, and for Garrett to kind of, and you saw the spat with him and Aaron Rodgers in training camp. I'm happy this situation for him is working out, and I hope it works out in a Terry McLaurin-like fashion where Terry had sat there and just caught passes from bum after bum after bum.
Sure.
And then he's blessed with a Jaden Daniels who, if you watch these draft videos, a lot of these wide receivers and tight ends were saying they would want to play with Jalen Daniels. They would be okay if the Commanders drafted him because of what he brings to the table. And so for Justin to have an opportunity to pair up with Garrett and these guys to get back to what they were doing during their time frame here at Ohio State, and there's some familiarity there. I think Justin Fields learned a lot from Russell. He really got a chance.
He learned a lot from playing for the Steelers organization with just that culture there.
And so, Tito, if you look at him, he's a first-round talent.
No doubt.
He came into a dumpster fire organization where you probably didn't pick up many things on being a great vet. You get implemented into a situation where you're competing with a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You see his habits. You see that, right? You kind of lose out, but you had success, so you really can't be sitting down on yourself. Then you go and walk into a bag in free agency. Yeah. Maybe not what you think it is, but you have an opportunity to play into another one. So for Justin Fields, I really hope this works out, man.
And then also the Juju Smith-Schuster returning to the Chiefs, and Cooper Kupp signs a 3-year deal with the Seahawks. That affects an Ohio State receiver because you've got JSN out there, Jack Smith-Njigba. They now have Sam Darnold as their quarterback. But after losing DK Metcalf, like we mentioned, and they cut Tyler Lockett, it's an opportunity there for Cooper Kupp. I was surprised at the Seahawks, but
why?
Just I thought that he would. I thought he would go to a team that's closer to competing for a Super Bowl than Seattle is, and So it seemed like they would probably that he would go to a more of a contender than Seattle, but he's from the Washington area, so I get it. It makes sense on that front. But Sam Darnold, who benefited greatly last year from having the receiving core of Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison out there, now walks into JSN and Cooper Kupp. Not bad for him.
Not bad at all. And I love the Cooper Kupp to Tyler Lockett. And in a way, he is like maybe a couple years younger than Tyler Lockett, but has some of that same slot presence, right?
Yeah,
and same ability to win. Maybe not, win over top, but Cooper at the end of the year, Puka, Matthew Stafford, those guys were pushing in the NFC, and he looked good. He looked like he still has about 3 good years to go out there and get some wins. So I'm excited for him and Sam Darnold, man. It's an opportunity for Sam to go out there and really, if he can do what he did with Minnesota, with that young defense, and Coach McDonald out there, they're building. So I like that. Yeah, you're right. I get it. You maybe not be close to a Super Bowl, but Kupp has already kind of won a Super Bowl.
He has won an MVP Super Bowl as well. Yeah, he's got that already in his resume there. Yeah. According to sources telling Adam Schefter that the Bengals are close to getting contract extension signed with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Very important, but
that number is crazy.
Well, but it's not
$135 million guaranteed, 212 over 5 years. He's going to be playing for 75, 70 after he signs.
It's not going to help the team. What I mean by that is because they're losing defensive players. Their defense is still very weak. And that's what cost them last year. There were so many games we had the stats like Burrow's the first quarterback to ever throw for this many yards, this many touchdowns, and no interceptions. And I'm sorry, and the Bengals lose.
Bengals.
Yeah. So Bengals. It's not going to be.
They draft Malachi Starks and get a D lineman.
Okay.
Heavy D lineman class. You get Malachi Starks in the first round. You answer your safety issues.
Okay.
You pay Trey.
All right. Well, they told Trey he could seek a trade if he wanted.
He can. He will. They'll work it out. But Tito, I see this Bengals team really using this draft to get better. You know, I mean, the offense is set.
Right.
You know where this has. Like,
They're
it
going to
needs to
score.
be like an Eagles, Howie Roseman mindset with that. What was that? 2022.
Yeah, with the draft. Yeah.
Just go for the best defensive players in the draft. Come on.
Load up on it.
Just load up.
Yeah, because the offense is fine. And you got Chase Brown running for them, who's a damn good running back, I believe. You know, that'll be fine there. They'll be able to score.
And then Orlando Brown's going to be healthy this season. Oh, he can protect Joe.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. That's the thing, though. You're going to have to outscore the Bengals, but the defense has to be markedly improved because although I don't think the Bengals or Steelers are really a threat right now, the Ravens are still the team to beat there in that division.
Just the name of the game's put up points. So
that's right. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
But you have to stop somebody.
Yeah, you got to stop
Not
somebody.
if they can't stop you.
You got to stop somebody.
Get the ball last. That's all you have to do. Fantasy football owner's dream is owning some Bengals for sure. All right, coming up in 2 minutes, another coach that follows a legend falls. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, Kevin. How's my engine doing?
Well, you tell me, little lady.
What?
Ma'am, an engine is delicate. It's got a lot of parts rubbing together.
Oh, is that so?
Lube her up real nice, and she'll purr like a kitty cat.
How do you know so much about engines?
Well, I spent a lot of time under that hood.
Babe, she is running hot. Let's go. And next time, I get to play the mechanic.
Rev up the romance with Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not...
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gertis?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gertis was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros, the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. Your go-to destination for Buckeye football talk all year round. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. Going till 3 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in to DeVier, Posey, Tito, and Jacob Reimer. Appreciate that. So, DeVier, there's Kyle Neptune has been fired as head coach at Villanova. He obviously replaced a legend in Jay Wright. And Neptune is not going to make the NCAA tournament this year with Villanova. And so he has not lived up to the legacy. And not that you can expect him to of Jay Wright, though. You know what I mean? Like, you can't necessarily. He was never going to be him.
He didn't have his suit tailor.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's the reason.
It's
and
hard
plus
to be
because Mekka never did a theme song, pump-up song for them. Anyway,
gotta buy Mekka.
Yeah, in his 3 seasons, he went 54-47, and overall, 31-29 in Big East. In Big East play, 31-29 there, tied for 6th each year in the Big East, and did not make the NCAA tournament. And I started thinking about this, and specifically with college basketball, which means Reimer's going to chime in at some point because we're going to talk college basketball. But just how difficult it is, and if there's a common thread. Like John Shire, he followed Coach K. He's gone 85-21 with Duke, has not missed a beat. And I'm curious why it works at Duke and not at Villanova. Reimer?
Because of the name you said? It's Duke?
It's the name. Even though Wright had Villanova going the way he did. Multiple titles, right?
Yeah. Villanova's still a big college basketball name, but it's not up there with Duke.
It's not Duke, that's for sure.
That's still like when you're a senior in high school coming out and you get that offer from that 4-letter school,
right?
It hits different than I would say what a Villanova does. Whether it's Duke or Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, those ones always hit different. And it's just a level up than Villanova.
And look at Syracuse. Adrian Autry followed Jim Boeheim, went 20-12 and then 14-19 this year. Syracuse still a big name. Boeheim he had plenty of mediocre years in his long career there, but is it harder following Jay Wright or Jim Boeheim?
Man, the makeup of Villanova over time it's not a national recruiting college. It's a guy who understands the East Coast, can identify with Philadelphia, recruits New York, recruits the DMV, recruits Delaware, goes down to Virginia and Maryland and gets those type of players. And to be honest, same with Syracuse. It's a regional kind of school that has a national approach. But hey, it's one of those things, Tito, where you're talking about Duke and what Coach K has done with USA basketball and just like how he can have his coaching tree that's just extremely long. I don't know many Boeheim coaching trees. I don't really know many Jay Wright coaching tree guys.
Fair, yeah.
So it's one of those things where I don't know if you can put those guys in the class of leadership as Coach K.
At the time of when Jay Wright stepped down and Jim Boeheim stepped down, the harder one to follow was definitely going to be Villanova. But I would probably put Villanova in a category above Syracuse. If it was in the 2012 to 2014 era where they had like Michael Carter-Williams, Tyler Ennis, and they were number one teams in the country, but they really haven't been anything since that. They had a Final Four in 2016, but that was still kind of a weird. They were a 10 seed that year.
Right.
They haven't been anywhere close to that in over a decade.
Their 2-3 got them there.
Yeah.
After Jim Calhoun, when he left UConn, you had Kevin Ollie come in. He won a title, ended up leaving amid some NCAA issues, though. Now, they've done UConn's bounce back okay, I would say, lately with what they've done with Danny Hurley.
For a FaceTime with Ray Allen.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
The FaceTime Ray Allen?
Yeah, you knew that, right, Reimer? Yeah, that's all it was.
Bill Self has done well following Roy Williams at Kansas. Mike Davis made it to an NCAA title game for Indiana after replacing Bobby Knight, but he did not have a steady tenure, and it ended for him. And then the one that I don't think, when people talk about replacing legends, I don't think this guy gets talked about enough. And I don't know why. Bill Guthridge was right after Dean Smith at North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who was the producer, I was going to bring this up, DeVier.
Yep.
Okay, just so you know, because
I thought you were going to get Bill Self-Love.
I thought you were going to go another direction with Carolina.
Bill Self-Love before you.
Bill Guthridge, though, in his 3 years following the great Dean Smith, made 2 Final Fours. Now, was it Doherty after that? Mm-hmm. And that's when it went.
The Doherty years were not good.
But Bill Guthridge, though, and I wonder why. I don't know if it was just 3 years he did it, and people thought, it's Dean's players and whatnot. That's Dean's guys. If that's why. But Guthridge, though, in his 3 years, went 80-28 with 2 Final Fours. That's a damn good record.
That's a great record.
I think the path was always, though, to get Roy back to Carolina.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I think that's fair. But still, though, I don't think that he gets talked about enough, though, as far as somebody who followed a legend and really did well.
Well, and it definitely won't be now in Carolina basketball history with Hubert Davis following Roy Williams the way that's kind of trending. But went to a title game at the first year after replacing Roy.
Right.
Won the 2 biggest games in the Carolina-Duke rivalry.
Sure.
But then you have number 1 overall, or preseason number 1, and missed the tournament the following year.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, you're a 1 seed. this year, I'm sweating
got
tonight.
Got bounced early when they won.
Yeah.
And you wonder, like, did he do a good job of retaining players? Because after that Caleb Love national championship appearance, it's like, why is that guy leaving?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's one of those things where I don't know if Hubert Davis is navigating it well, but he's like kind of like had a clunky start, but been kind of awkwardly successful.
They've been on the bubble, it seems like, every year except for last year when they were a 1 seed. Yeah. But it's still not something that Carolina basketball is wanting. Like, it's Carolina basketball. You're supposed to be fighting for national championships and not making the tournament.
Duke has separated themselves from Carolina. Would you agree with that? No, wait, that's us, Liam. I mean, no. Would you say that Duke has separated itself from North Carolina a little bit?
So this is what's you're going to make me mad, Tito, because this is crazy. People are forgetting that they were a 1 seed last year and they had a really good team. It's just the roster turnover and the construction of it just wasn't there, and definitely isn't what was comparable to Duke. Like, we can't forget that they were a 1 seed last year and they just had a very tough draw running into Alabama.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Duke, by the way, they had a really scary moment when Cooper Flagg went down in the ACC tournament. Looks like he'll be okay to play, but it reminded me when it first happened, and then you see him in a wheelchair. It reminded me what happened to the Cincinnati Bearcats when they had Kenyon Martin when he broke his leg.
But I don't know. I like Cooper Flagg, but Kenyon Martin's injury was a lot bigger.
Oh, no, it was a big deal. I was
depressed for a week as a kid.
That was a tough one, though. But but what it meant to that UC team and going down like that before the tournament, that was tough. And I was worried about that happening. It looks like Cooper Flagg should be okay now, though Duke went on to win the ACC tournament. So they obviously get the outright bid going in there into the NCAAs. And they still look. This Florida team is damn good. I've been watching them when I can here. And like I said, I've watched them a few times. They look like I think when Florida's going to have to beat itself for them to lose, I'm starting to think.
And they really haven't done anything this year to beat themselves.
Right.
Like,
Jacob,
they've been very consistent.
What do you know about their coach, their young coach?
I know he came from Bruce Pearl in Auburn, but that's really all I kind of know. Because, last year they were kind of a borderline bubble team, and they snuck in, I think it's like a 10 seed. But they lost in the first round in a crazy game to Colorado. But I like his scheme. I like his system. It's run and gun. They really defend well. I love the roster that they have. But yeah, they are a very tough team.
If not North Carolina, Jacob, who do you want to see win the tournament?
Either it's going to be 3 of the 1 seeds not named Duke.
Anybody but Duke.
Okay, I've got a point for all of them. Auburn has been incredible all year.
Right.
I'm a big Bruce Pearl fan. Tahad Pettiford's very fun to watch for them. Janai Broom, I think, should be the National Player of the Year. Florida is very fun to watch, like we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. Houston, they kind of are at the point where they kind of deserve a deep run now. And no one's really talking about it. They've won 13 games in a row, and they're undefeated on the road this year in college basketball as well, which is insane.
That is.
Given the conference they're in. But I know I'm not a big Duke guy, but it still would be cool, especially if Cooper Flagg is healthy, to complete that run. That as a freshman and all that, just kind of being the face of college basketball and going to be the number 1 pick next year, most likely, to complete that with a national championship, it would still be a very cool story.
How about you, DeVier? Is there a school you want to see win? And you can pick North Carolina if you want. I was going to let Reimer do it.
Nah, I'm with a SEC team pulling it out. I'm okay with that. I'm with a Big 12 team having a deep run, and like we were saying, I listened to Clark earlier.
Yeah,
he really likes Drake. So I want to see an off-brand team win this year. I'm really okay if it's not a blue blood, and I hope it's one of those years.
Can I change my answer of who I want?
Crazier years.
Can I change my answer of who I want to win? St. John's.
St. John's with Pitino.
Like
okay,
yeah, that's not bad. It's not anybody but a blue blood. I'm okay with that this year.
But see, I think the most basketball fans love seeing upsets in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't want to see 4 double-digit seeds in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I would rather see the Blue Bloods in the Final Four.
I'm here for the underdog story. This is just,
I'm great for underdog stories until we get to the Final Four. Then I want to see the best teams playing. I don't want – look, I hope Drake wins a couple of games. That'd be great. I don't want Drake in the Final Four.
Well, it's about matchups.
It is about matchups, yeah.
It's about matchups.
But I'm just saying, like, there's certain and I don't know if other people agree with that or not, but I think the upsets are always such a great story when you see Valpo with Bryce Drew making his shot and that kind of thing. When you see those kind of special moments that happen in the tournament, that's all great. But I just, when it gets down to the fight, like I would love to see, the 4 of the top 10 teams in the country in the Final Four. I don't need to see Florida Atlantic. I don't need to see Loyola.
So you didn't like seeing St. Peter's knock off Kentucky and Purdue and then having to play North Carolina to potentially play Duke in the Final Four.
I want to see if you can be the Cinderella, but just not at the end.
I'm with you. I think getting to the Elite Eight is cool though.
I'm okay with Elite Eight. I don't want to see these mismatches, potential mismatches, I guess. I don't want to see the talent gap there. And I really do. And, I talked, we talked about this before, but like the college basketball rarely crowns the best team from the season. It's usually the team who just got hot. And I want to see one of the better teams, at least, win the national title to make the season just, it's cleaner for me if that happens, DeVier. I don't want to see some team come in that goes, case in point, 17-15, and win the national championship. Because you know what that would do? That would piss me off. Because I'm thinking, how good could this team have been all season long? But we'll find out. Again, the selection show is at 6 o'clock tonight on Channel 10. Make sure you check that out. And then 8 o'clock is when we will have the women's bracket revealed as well. See where the Ohio State women end up going. We're still here hoping for a top 4 seed for the Buckeyes so they can host for McGuff and his team. And they'll be watching that as well. He said we had him on earlier, which is great. And he talked about the fact they're going to probably watch the men's draw and then get geared up to watch the women's draw that comes on at 8 o'clock. And I will fill out a women's bracket this year. Have you ever filled out a women's basketball bracket, Reimer?
I have not, but just have all the 1 seeds advance.
That's the way it's probably going. How about you, DeVier? Have you filled out a women's bracket yet?
No, not yet. I will for Coach McGuff and our team this year. Absolutely.
Put them all the way through. All right, coming up next, we will wrap things up. Update you what's going on right now in college basketball, what you can look forward to the rest of the day. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get 1 line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. As much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 or free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 5-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
A Tim Hortons treat with Nutella is the perfect way to add a little joy to your day, whatever your day brings. Imagine reading your book with a smooth hazelnut mocha iced cap topped with Nutella, or tackling your to-do list with a delicious croissant filled with Nutella and whipped sweet cream. And when you're heading to the office, grab a hazelnut mocha iced coffee with cold foam, because there's nothing better than combining that irresistible Nutella taste with your favorite Tims. Treat yourself with the Nutella lineup, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants, naturally and artificially flavored.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sports book. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What does living your best nonstop life mean to you? Cheering on your team at that big game? A music festival with friends? A family vacation? Or maybe a vacation from your family? Live your best nonstop life with low fares and nonstop flights only at Allegiant.com.
Non-stop flights from Columbus to Fort Lauderdale, one way for as low as $44. Must be purchased by 4/24/2025 for travel between 3/13/2025 and 8/17/2025. Seats and dates are limited. Restrictions apply. See Allegiant.com for details.
When you join the plus side with AAA, that's all you'll have to do. Or you could learn to change your own tire.
Hey fam, what's up? Today I'm gonna teach you to change a flat. Before we start, make sure it's not raining, or hailing, or lightning.
You can have AAA find you the right insurance policy, or you can shop for your own.
Hello?
I'm with Mega Insure. You requested a quote?
Yes, 3 months ago.
You could have our travel advisors plan your dream vacation, or book your own travel.
Woo! Panama City Beach! Spring break!
I thought you said we were going to Panama.
Wait, there's a difference?
Skip the hard work. On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. It's sports conversation, but with a drink and umbrella as a garnish. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, Fan Sports Sunday. Fan Sports Selection Sunday. Final segment of the program. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our guests today. We had Adam Jardy on the Columbus Dispatch saying that Ohio State, there's a chance. Maybe they'll have a name called in the NCAA selection show later on tonight at 6 o'clock. Catch that action on Channel 10. We also would like to thank Kevin McGuff for joining us, Ohio State women's basketball coach, and talk to us about their kind of sweating a little bit, see if there'll be a 4 or 5 seed. Hopefully a 4 seed makes life much easier and more advantageous for them. Sounds like it's between them and Alabama in all likelihood as far as who will get that last 4 seed. Also, thank you to the great Clark Kellogg for Buckeye CBS Sports. And he's always great. Love talking to him. We had him on today as well. And then also John Gerber joined us. He's our betting expert Follow him on Twitter at J Gerber PGA Pro. All those people joined us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System fan guest hotline. Going on right now, the Cavs looking to extend their win streak to 17 games, have a 7-point lead, 77-70 on Orlando. That game is late in the third quarter. And on the college hoop side, Florida had a 60-47 lead on Tennessee. Tennessee ran off 8 straight points, and then Florida just made a couple of free throws. They're up 7. It's Florida 62, Tennessee 55. A little less than 9 minutes left to go in that game. We still have other games coming up today. The AAC championship between UAB and Memphis. That's at 3 o'clock. At 3:30, Wisconsin and Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. And DeVier, I don't know if it's a disadvantage or not, but the ACC wrapped up yesterday. Yep. So that's an extra day of rest for Duke, which they need because of flag law, but it's all pre-planned. But the Big Ten's always the last game as far as conference championship games go. And I don't know if a coach would tell you it's a disadvantage or an advantage or if it matters at all because, you don't get that extra day and you got to go, Wisconsin or Michigan, they're both going to make the NCAA tournament, but, they may both have to play on Thursday and they lose a day of rest based on the fact Big Ten plays their last game on that, the last game of the conference tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of been like that. I remember when we were coming off of Evans' hot shot, right, that he hit it, and he was coming out and just heading into the tournament. I always looked at it as like an advantage that you don't have that time off, right?
Okay.
Like if you can continue for basketball, it's such a rhythm game. It's such one of those games where if you have a bad night, the only option is to go shoot to be better. So
right.
it's like the more you're playing, the better,
Sure.
So I don't think that's a bad thing for the Big Ten right now.
I always wondered about that, though, because, and granted, in some cases, like in Duke, it's a huge advantage for them because of the Cooper Flag injury. Now, he gets an extra day to recover, and who knows, if their first game's not till Friday, that's like giving him a little more than a week to get better if he can do that, right? Friday night?
I think it sounds like their game for the tournament will be on Friday.
Because it'll be in Greensboro?
Raleigh, yeah.
Raleigh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that is advantageous for Duke in that one. Tennessee's cut it to 5 again. It's 62-57 now in that game. Tennessee's keeping it very close. Tennessee has got Felix Okpara, the former Buckeye on the team this year, who transferred over there, one of the departures from that Ohio State team from a year ago. But do you guys ever root for the Ohio State players? Like Tennessee and Okpara, does that ring a bell? Like, does that do anything for either of you?
I hope he has some success, yeah.
Speaking of Wisconsin, I saw a clip of Jaden Ballard.
Yeah.
Bombing somebody, looking good, looking like he put some pounds on. Absolutely.
I do it with the NFL. I don't know if I always do it with college sports. Like, I rooted for Burrow.
It really hasn't been a thing in college until recently.
Right, yeah, I know. I think a lot of it for me depends on the circumstances in which they leave.
So like Roddy, for example?
Yeah, Roddy doing his thing. I wasn't rooting for Roddy at all. I like Okpara, though, so I guess I root for him. But, if you leave the team in a way that feels to me like it's a double middle finger you're giving to Ohio State, I'm not going to root for you. But, the way Burrow left, I'd never root for Tate Martell after he left just because all the trash he talked and then was,
Tate Martell.
But, I think that's what it is for me. It's like it depends on how they leave. If they leave saying all the right things, like Devin Brown, I'll root for Devin Brown at Cal.
Absolutely. He stayed here. Absolutely. He's a Buckeye.
I didn't root for McCord, though.
I rooted for McCord.
I didn't find myself rooting for him either.
I'm not sure why.
You know what they say?
What's that?
The NFL doesn't look at McCord like the fans do in college football.
You think the NFL?
He has one of the fastest releases in this draft. He'll start. People believe he'll be a starter in the league.
Man, I don't know if I can get behind that or not.
I know, Tito. I get it.
Who starts more NFL games in their career? Who plays? Let's do it this way. Who plays in more NFL games?
Will Howard.
Kyle McCord or Will Howard? Man. Who plays in more NFL games in their career?
I'll go Kyle McCord.
I'm going to go Will Howard.
I'm with Will Howard, too.
And the difference for me is, I think, and this is not a knock on Kyle McCord the way I'm saying this, but Will Howard is he is somebody who I think could be a long-term player, maybe mostly as a backup in the NFL, but somebody who's a smart guy, good teammate, a good person, and who's very coachable, who I think could have a long career as a backup, if not starting, which is why I think he'll end up getting more games than McCord does.
So he'll be I think I'll be honest. I like to do comps. I know people don't like comps.
Yeah.
I'll tell you comps.
Go ahead.
Will Howard is Brian Hoyer, and Kyle McCord is like Jay Cutler.
Ooh. So McCord smokes on the bench during games.
No.
I'm sorry. No, that's not what Kyle Cutler. That's not what Jay Cutler did. No, he did.
That's Joe Montana.
So that's not bad. That's not a bad. I could see a little bit of that, kind of the gunslinger and Kyle McCord type thing, maybe. But I don't know. It's just that it's funny for me how sometimes we justify why we root or why I sometimes justify why I root or don't root for some people when it comes to that. By the way, Cavs now lead 78-70 with a couple minutes left in the third quarter in that game as they try to extend their win streak to 17 games. This team has been phenomenal this year. Florida leads right now Tennessee. They're at the 8-minute timeout. Florida's up 75-67 in that game with the SEC championship on the line. And again, like I said, UAB, Memphis at 3 o'clock for the AAC. Washington and Michigan, Wisconsin and Michigan, not Washington. Wisconsin and Michigan play at 3:30 for the Big Ten championship. Make sure you stay locked in because Channel 10 tonight will have the NCAA selection show starting at 6 o'clock. The women's show will be at 8 o'clock. I think that one's going to be on ESPN, though. And thank you to all of our guests. We'll see if Ohio State gets in. But thank you to Jardy. Thank you to Kevin McGuff. Big thanks to Clark Kellogg and also Mekka Don. I forgot to mention him earlier. Damn it. Sorry, Mekka. And also to John Gerber. But make sure you stick around. Coming up next, Game Day right here on 97.1 The Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me, your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, Kevin. How's my engine doing?
Well, you tell me, little lady.
What?
Ma'am, an engine is delicate. It's got a lot of parts rubbing together.
Oh, is that so?
Lube her up real nice, and she'll purr like a kitty cat.
How do you know so much about engines?
Well, I spent a lot of time under that hood.
Babe, she is running hot. Let's go. And next time, I get to play the mechanic.
Rev up the romance with Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not...
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gerdes?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gerdes was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
The best matchup is you in a new ride at Coghlan Chevrolet, Central Ohio's #1 Chevy dealer. Lease a new 25 Chevy Trax, $149 a month. Your choice, new 25 Trailblazer or 24 Blazer EV RS. Lease for $169 a month. At all 5 Coghlan Chevy locations and CoglanChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
36, 42, and 24-month leases, 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over, $39.99.